All right, it's 6 o'clock. We'll go ahead and start our meeting. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Before we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, on September 11th, 2001, our lives were forever changed when the unfathomable happened. 2,977 people were killed and thousands more were injured in a terrorist attack on our country. Let us take a moment of silence to remember those who lost their lives on that day and the impact the events have had on our lives from that day forward. Thank you. Let us rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Be seated. I do need a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. I do want to remind everyone that these board meetings are our business meetings that are held in public. They are not public board meetings. The board is governed by Idaho Code Title 74 and Title 33, Chapter 5, the Idaho Administrative Procedures Act, or ADAPA, and we do follow district policies. Do we have any public input?
We do not.
Okay. Is there anyone out there that came for public input that didn't sign up? Okay. We are going to go out of order. So we are going to jump down to new action, new business action. And the first item up will be item I-6, the LHS Veterans Memorial. Okay. So we have a design. I see Mr. Quimby is here. That would be you.
You sure?
Sure, come on up.
You got pretty involved there. I didn't know about it. Oh.
Oh, cheer it up.
Yeah, I get tired. I can sit down. I won't take long. I probably know most of you. My name is Larry Quimby, and a project I got going is a memorial for veterans right out here by the highway, right out front. And I did give a plan to school for some of you people in the audience. And this is just a footprint, it's all it is. And I'm working with Paul Matthews, the architect, and then we'll have to get an engineer involved and everything with the city and city license and all that. But anyhow, if anybody wants to look at it, and then I saw this memorial on a road trip that Judy and I took to Nebraska, and it's a little tiny town, smaller than this town, and it's very involved. And there is, see if this, Judy took these pictures and they came out pretty good to give you an idea of what it would look like. And I can just pass them around. What I would like the school district to do is let us have that piece of land. That's all.
Okay.
And with volunteers and donations, we plan on building this, and it's gonna be around 200,000 is all.
Okay.
But I think we get most of it donated, and a lot of it, it's got, let's see. It's got 27 monuments in it,
Okay.
and it's got 2 soldiers in it that are, what's the word, dude? Kneeling, but how we have them made.
Bronze statues.
Bronze statues. And one of them will be the soldier with his rifle guarding the entrance, and the other one would be the other soldier kneeling with his rifle over his knees and bowing and saying a prayer. And I'll let you look at some of these if you want to real quick. And it has a ribbon in it. It's a concrete slab.
Okay.
All the way around, and it'll be like a 4-foot fence, wrought iron fence around it. They'll have a really nice entrance.
So those pictures.
And here it is in this little tiny town. This is how some of the people that donated money and time, they had one of the memorials, they had it with all their names etched in. And I'm sorry I get a little emotional about this.
I understand.
But it's I think it's a project that we're doing. The Lakeland School District is what I'm projecting on all the veterans that lived here and died here. And that would be basically local. How many we have? If it's that little, then we'll reach out to Post Falls and Coeur d'Alene, to get enough people on the veteran side of it that have passed away, and the veterans that live here. There's a lot of veterans in this town.
Mm-hmm. There are.
So that's what I'm asking for. If the board would donate that land to the city or to the Lions Club, not necessarily. We'll set up an account and everything. It'll be a memorial, separate place.
Okay.
Got any questions?
Where is it?
He wants it. It's where the intersection comes in.
Because they have the intersection right here.
Right. That's just a blown up view of that. So it would go right here.
Oh, right in front
Yeah.
of where
Either-
41.
Either that way or
Okay.
that way, or you come into school.
Where you can park. The parking lot's right here. This is
Okay.
where they set up for bathroom days right here.
Okay, so
Okay.
so this is a blown
Yeah,
up
it wouldn't.
That's 41.
version of this right
There's a
here.
highway.
Oh,
The
gotcha.
stoplights
So
are
right here,
Okay.
right in that,
So-
in the green grass where they do bathroom
Okay.
days.
Yeah.
So
that's
currently we have.
basically along the fence where
Yeah.
Right.
all the signs are
Mm-hmm.
advertising.
Okay.
Between the school and the fence in that
Yeah,
green,
there you go.
Okay.
green space.
It's approximately 100. What is it, Judy? I can't remember now.
144.
Yeah, long and 44 feet wide,
Okay.
approximately. And with Paul Matthews, he'll do a better drawing of that once we get situated and come over here, and we'll stake it out and look at it again and see if it's going to fit that area the best.
Okay.
So the kids aboard something to think about. Don't think too long, hurry up, I want it right.
I hear you. I suppose we would need to consider, you're asking us to give you the land or to give it to the city.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why we couldn't retain the land and you erect the statue on there?
I don't think there would be a problem there.
Okay.
The only thing I was thinking with the seating would be, if we got them involved, then they can maintain it. And there wouldn't be a lot of maintaining it, because it's open air.
Right.
You know, it's not enclosed, so, and it'd be open it'll be lit, I'll have a lot of lights, it'll
Okay.
have the flags and everything.
Okay.
And there too, the front entrance will be, you know, the memorial service, Paul's designing that right now. It would be Veterans Memorial,
Okay.
it's not a stadium, so.
Right.
Yeah,
Tribute.
The flags.
Right. Okay.
so it's, when we're looking at other ideas too, you know, I mean, just, and then the, these will be for the names going on in the donations and the veterans, their name will be on, just like this, it'll be all in stone.
Okay.
On a pedestal, so and you can walk around them. We'll have chairs in there or a bench, and you can sit, you know, and it'll be a peaceful place.
Okay. Okay.
Anybody have questions?
Larry, what would be the access to it? Would people have to come through the school grounds in order to get to it?
Just, they can come right down the sidewalk, the asphalt walk that's there now, and walk right in the front. And I figured they could park in the parking lot over here or over there. Because when people come to look at it, it's probably gonna be the summertime, you know, there's people that go all over the country looking at these memorials now. So, and it's for our veterans that live here, that's what we're doing, and the ones that have died, you know, so that's,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have any idea, but we're gonna go to American Legion and the VFW and probably the record and find out who the veterans are that have passed away.
Okay.
And then we'll start advertising that.
Okay.
As soon as we get a firm commitment, then I'll have Paul Matthews, the architect, he'll draw it up some more and give us a better detail of the plan. And I think I can get a lot of stuff donated for I know a lot of contractors and,
Right.
you know, and then they get their name on the big marble plaque, you know, that they donated.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look at here, they set it out with bronze star, and there was a couple of people and they didn't want their name, and they gave 50,000.
Okay.
And it goes all the way down to, they call it a sergeant. Gosh darn it, a sergeant. They're cheap. They went from 500 to 1,000.
Okay.
You know, so whatever a person could do, but I think what they did, because they got to buy the stone, then they have it etched in.
Okay.
You know, so
Okay.
I don't know if you saw that one or not.
No, that one wasn't passed around.
You can pass that around. There's a couple there. That gives the name. You can read what they donated, the people in the community.
Okay.
As far as the veterans, some of the money that we raised, we'd have to get the plaque, because we'd have all the services there.
Okay.
Maybe even now we'd have to have the one up in the sky. What is it? The new one?
Okay. Okay. This is the one. Okay. That's the donation. Mm-hmm.
And I think it'd fit right in there.
Okay.
We got two major highways going right by it.
Right.
And they'll have on that entrance, it'll say Memorial, Veterans Memorial. And Paul, he didn't think that one was nice enough that they had him back in Omaha, so he's designing it differently.
Okay.
It'll be all right. This one area, you can pass this one around, so it kind of shows you where all the, kind of shows you the entrance and where they located the give you an idea
Okay.
where everything goes. And they got a ribbon in there too.
I see that.
We'll do that out of concrete probably.
Okay. Is the whole ground anticipated to be concrete?
Yep.
Okay.
And we probably stamp that little area, that pathway,
Okay.
or ribbon, or whatever they call that.
Right. Okay. Mr. Neff, I see you're here. What's the high school's perspective on this project? Or
Yeah, I think,
something
Jimmy had talked about it.
okay.
He thinks it's great, he was fantastic with that, and he also, he said, closer to the parking lot would be better. We want to get as best access as possible to those who could be handicapped coming in, those kinds of things.
Okay.
And we talked about it, it should be, you know, commemorative and reflection for our building.
Okay.
Did I get fined? Did I get fined?
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Bob.
He's on the end.
See, this shows their entrance a little better.
Oh, that is cool. Okay, so it's a rectangular memorial. Because I was trying to figure out I got that part. That was confusing. Is that possible ways it could?
That's, yeah, this one.
Okay.
This is going in there.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions for Mr. Quimby?
Can I run? You got one of these. Okay. I won't leave you this one. Okay, come. I don't know where that is.
It was on his finger.
Yeah, it's right.
Yeah.
I got a lot of help. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Nobody have any other questions?
Yeah, it means you did a really good job of
Oh.
presenting.
I really did. Okay.
Here, you take that.
Okay. Well, thanks for listening to me.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming.
Good to see you.
I'll be back.
Good.
See you tonight.
Good night.
Night, guys.
Good night, Larry.
Right.
Would we like to hold discussion on this now, or come back to it?
Let's come back to it.
Come back to it? Okay. Where's the thingy? Okay, so we'll jump back up to reports. First item being the financial report. Do any of the trustees have questions, comments, or? I do, if nobody else does. Okay. Go ahead. You can announce yourself.
Jessica Grantham, Chief Finance Officer.
Thank you. I'm just curious in salaries why we're sitting at a negative number under all other funds year-to-date expenses.
We had accruals for last year,
Okay.
and so we're still paying out those accruals. Well, we accrued them to last year, so some of those differences from what we accrued and what actually hit is just a little bit different. that negative number will go away starting in September when all of our September start employees will go on.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? I have none. Okay. So together, just one more report. Okay. Any other questions? I'm good. Anybody? Okay. Okay. Thank you.
I had one. I'm sorry. I just remembered. The curriculum. What account is it? Just depends on what the curriculum's for, or what account it comes out of, or what fund. Okay.
Yes, Trustee Grissom, the curriculum is either coded to elementary programs or secondary programs,
Okay.
and would show up under the supplies and materials line item.
Okay. I was trying to get an altogether number, because, when we did the amounts for the levy, we took half of the curriculum money away, but every month we're getting 20,000, 50,000, 125,000. So I was looking for an accrued number, a running total as we're going forward. Or if you just tell me where I can find it, I'll look at it also.
Trustee Grissom, it's not listed. Although this
Okay.
report is detailed, it's not listed in
Okay.
that much detail. I do prepare a report for our district leadership team every week.
Mhm.
I'd be happy to include that in the financial follow-up, just so you have the transparency on it.
That'd be perfect. Thank you very much.
No
I
problem.
appreciate that. That was it. That was the only thing.
What was the one-time money in the general fund for $35,000? Other school revenue, one-time money, $35,000.
I looked that up yesterday for something, and I'm drawing a blank on it.
Okay.
I'd be happy to include that in my financial follow-up next month, or I can look it up and let you know during my next report.
Okay. That's fine. Any other questions? No. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to open enrollment report, class size review. Thank you for providing us with this, the information. I am curious. I'm assuming the very last one is Mountain View.
It is.
Okay.
The other name is gone.
The name's gone. Plus, we also don't have 7th and 8th grade listed. So I'm wondering where those kids are accounted for on this report.
They probably are accounted for in the Lakeland Timberlake Middle School numbers right now. When she ended the year last year, she had, I think, one 7th grader. Everybody else was 8th grade, so they all rolled up to the high school. So we are currently putting kids in that classroom. So I will double check on that. But
Okay, on the financial report, it does show, I believe, 8 kids at the middle school for Mountain View.
I will double check and
okay.
make sure that we have them coded correctly.
Check, make sure that those are correct. Yeah, it shows 6 8th graders, 2 7th graders. And then on the class size update, thank you for that.
Lisa, do you have a total number of out-of-district open enrollment accepted?
I have not totaled that, but we could do that for you.
I am concerned why in middle schools, both of them, the 6th grade classes are so heavy, but 7th and 8th are reasonable. Because we've got 31 kids in 6th grade. I'm assuming per teacher because it says class size is 31. But when we drop down to 7th and 8th, we've got 14, 16, 17. To me, those are reasonable numbers.
Yeah.
And why couldn't we bring in another teacher?
We actually talked about doing that,
Okay.
and what we ended up deciding to do, and Mr. Z is here, if we want to hear from him, but we talked about he really just needed an additional period and not a whole teacher, and so that's hard to show on this. But so when we add another period, you can pull kids out, and so somebody's teaching them the prep instead of a whole.
So we don't have 31 kids in the classroom?
You want to answer that question because I don't know the ins and outs of your.
Please walk on up to the podium. No, not a problem.
Sorry,
And
I need to
introduce
put you-
yourself.
It's nice that you're here tonight. Sorry to put you on the spot.
Matt Ziegenfuss, principal at Lakeland Middle School. Could you clarify what class are you talking about, or is it all classes? Is it average?
We have a report showing that the average class size estimate is 31 students in 6th grade. So the teachers in 6th grade have 31 kiddos.
Can I just clarify? Do you have 7 6th grade teachers? Is that the right number?
8 6th grade teachers.
I just
2 math, 2
thanks.
ELA, 2 science, 2 social studies, and then an additional section of social studies.
So that's why I didn't add them. I missed one.
Okay.
Because when I was looking at 7, I was just counting in my head, and I realized that number's not right. So the
Okay.
divisor would be 8 point whatever 1/6 of a day is
Okay.
instead of 7.
Do we also have an extra teacher at Timberlake because the number's just as high?
Timberlake has, again, in talking with Mr. McDougall, what he needed was one more period at each of those grade levels instead of hiring a full teacher. So we have teachers who offer to teach on their prep instead. So it's hard to show that in these numbers, but they don't have 31 kids in the classroom because we didn't. This is based on the number of FTE there. So.
Okay.
Maybe you could provide, as you did a year ago.
The master schedule?
Settled in, a full schedule with the number in each section.
Yep, we can do that. I'll bring that to the October board meeting. We've been paying close attention to the class sizes to make sure that we're not in a position where we're paying overage stipends and that we have our reasonable class sizes that we promise our patrons. So I will bring the master schedule so you can see those.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. We did.
I thought we were supposed to have the master schedule when we did agenda planning, when Marie and I did it. The master schedule was on this. Was it taken off?
Yeah, I didn't have all of them yet, so I will
Okay.
bring them in October. Yes,
All right.
sorry. We did do there, so there have been some adjustments. If you look in the elementary part, Twin Lakes only has one kindergarten section because they only have 23 students there, and Betty Kiefer, which has traditionally had 3 sections of kindergarten, we brought down to 2. Because they didn't have the numbers to warrant the 3rd. And then at other places, we added some sections. So
Spirit Lake has 2 kindergartner teachers without any students?
nope, they have kids. Where are the numbers?
I don't know.
Should have come right from, yeah, they have 41. So that, I don't know, the link or the formula must have been broken right there, but they're each at, they're at 20 and 21.
20 and a half. Okay.
Yes.
And it's your belief that within the 7th and 8th grade is also the Mountain View kids?
I'm going to verify that for you,
Okay.
and then I will bring that back in October.
Does anybody else have any questions or conversation you want to have on a class size or open enrollment update?
Just a comment, with a couple of exceptions, looks to me like we're in a very good situation, class-wise, numbers-wise.
Yeah.
We when we were trying to balance the budget last year, we had to have the conversation about how to cut money. We had those 12 positions that were vacated that we kind of said we were going to protect. We ended last year at 4,500 kids, and just rolling everybody up with nobody new coming in and nobody leaving, we anticipated we would be down at 4,400. We're actually at 46, right at 4,650. So we're 250 kids above where we thought we would be this year. So we did have to hire some of those positions back, but we were very careful, which is why in the cases that Chair Thompson was asking about, I did ask the principal, do you feel like you need an additional half teacher, full teacher? And their sense was, I really just need one more period to make these numbers balance. So we were pretty judicious with how we did it, but I think everybody, all the principals feel like class sizes are where they want them to be. And I met with them today and they said this has been the smoothest start to the school year. And I do think part of that was moving registration in May and not having a frantic rush at the end. We still had some hiring to do at the end, but it wasn't what it has been. So.
And the more people that register in May and don't wait till August, the easier it is for this work to be done before the school starts.
That's right. So I will bring the master schedule so you can see, and I'll ask the principals to make sure that they have the number of kids in each section so you can see that. And I will also bring the updated.
Okay. Thank you. No further comments or no? Anybody?
No.
Okay. Moving on to the consent agenda, we have the minutes of the previous meetings, minutes of the subcommittee meetings, HR items, and regular and special bills. Any comments on minutes of previous meetings? Anyone? Okay. Any comments on the minutes of the subcommittee meetings? I have a question. How come the remainder of Augusts aren't here? Because we have July and August 1. We should have the other August meetings. Is there a reason they're not here? Were they just not prepared yet?
I will also just miss those.
Okay,
So
fair enough.
bring them in October.
Perfect. We'll have lots of policy committee meetings. HR items. Any comments or questions?
Nope.
We're filling those positions that are being vacated. How are we handling that?
Sorry, Trustee Gerson, if you take a look at the hiring memo.
So
It's
that is
pretty long.
okay. All right. I figured it was, but I didn't know if we were.
We have been
Okay.
crazy onboarding.
Okay. All right. Perfect. I have no further questions as far as that. I guess that's a different line item.
There was one resignation that sort of resonated with me.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly we can discuss that in executive session. Regular and special bills. I do have some questions. Okay. I noticed we have a lump sum amount of petty cash for 11 sites, but we're not identifying what's going where.
Chair Thompson, Jessica Grantham, Chief Finance Officer. That's for our food service, for them to have the tills to provide change. There we go.
Right.
So would you like a breakdown?
It would be nice to know what money's going where. It just says 11 sites, and that's not a divisible number, so it's not an equal amount to each school. So that's why I was like, what are we doing? It's not something you have to follow up on, but maybe next year if we can add that in, that'd be great. We've got 2 checks going out to TransFinder. Is there a reason why? We've got one for $4,400 and one for $1,200.
Chair Thompson, the first one is the annual software hosting fee, and the $1,200 is the annual technical support. So instead of combining them into one contract, they're two separate contracts.
Okay.
Both of those were approved by the State Department of Transportation for us to include on our transportation fee next year.
Okay. And what tree, you might know, what trees were removed at LHS?
I think a couple in the parking lot.
Yeah, there were some dead trees. When they took the tree down over here at John Brown, they also took a couple that were dead out.
Okay.
The front of Whitman High School.
And I see we
On the teacher side.
on the teacher side. Okay. We did the final payment for the LHS track. Are we 100% sure that the track is where it needs to be?
Per the walkthrough, yes. I did
Okay.
not pay that invoice until I got sign off from the track coaches, the AD, and our facilities director.
Okay. Is good? We're all good?
I'm not.
Wrong answer.
Not the answer I wanted to hear.
It is under warranty though.
And we purchase our paper through Office Depot. There's nothing cheaper.
Chair Thompson, our accounts payable specialist, does spend quite a bit of time
Okay.
researching cost
Okay.
of paper. So yes, that was the most economical
just-
price.
Shocked.
Yes. It's a lot of paper. I can share the number of cases that we
Actually,
purchased if you would like.
The cost is not what was as astronomical as the fact that we bought it from Office Depot. So I was like, whoa.
We do actually get a fairly decent discount
Okay.
from Office Depot as an educational
Oh, yeah.
organization. So
Okay.
they're actually pretty reasonable when it comes to paper.
Okay.
But we were going paperless.
No.
I'm gonna go
We
around.
we made that. We had no paper for a long time. Yeah.
Trustee
We
Quimby,
need
I was
paper.
not here when that was decided.
I think it was a world thing.
Okay. I don't have anything else. Does anybody else? No.
I do not.
No. No.
Pretty
Okay.
straightforward.
Oh, Bob has a question.
The bill for Spirit Lake roof repair relating to the siding project. Explanation of some sort?
Trustee Jones, we approved that earlier I want to say it was either April or June. It was some additional work that was identified as part of the siding project that we just needed to do some repairs. I can pull some more information and bring that to you if you'd like.
Is that the flashing that went around the edge?
I believe it was.
I thought that, I didn't realize the roofing contractor was gonna do that. I thought that was gonna be.
I can double check for sure and bring you more details in October.
Emmett may have sub that out, maybe.
I get to that, the regular contractor we use for roofing.
It is Jimmy's.
Yeah.
Chair Thompson, to go back, if I may, to the financial report, that $35,000. There's a line item budgeted. That's where the revenue for NIC, NNU, and College of Western Idaho goes when we receive money for teaching dual credit classes in the high school.
Okay.
The $34,000 that came in one-time revenue from the state funds, so that's revenue actually received in August. That was our digital content and curriculum money that we received. We applied to get a portion of that. We could get up to $50,000. That was the pot of money, if you remember back in May when I was presenting budget for revenues. They had a change in state statute and how they could allocate those funds. Instead of allocating a small amount to every district, it became a applied for amount of funds. We were able to apply the day that it opened, and we received the full amount we asked for, and that's how we were able to do the Thinking Maps curriculum. Or not,
It's NWEA.
NWEA curriculum.
Okay.
That was approved.
Assessment.
Thank you. I'm just going to keep saying the wrong thing. You're fine. So the $34,000 that's on there for revenue for August is the digital content and curriculum money from the state. The $35,000 line item, that's one-time revenue other, is where we receive checks in for teaching in high school dual credit classes. And then that money is paid out
Those are those stipends.
to,
So it's kind of through. Kind of
Yeah.
pass through.
it's a pass-through, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Any additional questions or
One
comments?
more.
Okay. Bob's on the line.
Sorry.
What are you sorry about?
There's a bill to in-touch receipting for some sort of receipting. I don't know what that is.
In-touch receipting is what we use at the high schools and we also use on our web for Chromebook payments. They use it for Gate. We use it to kind of host our base money on the website through. We also use My School Bus for online payments through the app for base. But if they wanted to pay outside of that, they could do In-touch. So those are all the credit card terminals. It allows credit card terminals.
Credit card fees, is that what that is?
No, it's the actual cost
Software.
the software for it.
The hosting
Oh.
of the.
So is it a one-time?
Yes,
It's an annual.
annual fee.
And
Once a year fee.
Not a one time. It's a once a year.
One time, once a year
Okay,
that we pay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Anything
I'm
else?
finished.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. On that, I'll entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
As presented.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving on to the superintendent follow-up.
Sure.
I see that. So, Rathdrum City Council is asking for either September 19th or September 26th.
Both are Friday evenings.
Okay. Oh, that's not good for Friday night lights.
I'm assuming it's evening. You didn't give me a time. I guess I said evening, but you just gave me the dates. But people work, so I would assume that the expectation is that we're doing it in the evening.
Okay.
Wait. The 19th is a Thursday.
Oh, it is?
And the 26th.
Yeah,
But
they're
it's
both
Thursdays, not
Thursdays.
Fridays.
Okay, good.
So I was like, I come back on the 19th, but I mean, I'll be home like in the afternoon, but
That's good. So it's
Yeah,
not
so-
Friday.
so
we
it could
can go to football games. Excellent.
What's my schedule like?
I don't,
All right. Does anybody have a preference?
I'm open to going.
You are?
I am.
Wow.
so the sooner the better, I say. That's just my
19th?
Ramona?
I'm good.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I have no idea, so we'll shoot for the 19th.
19th, okay.
Apologize.
And then the way their chamber is set up, it doesn't seem very collaborative with them kind of sitting up above you and you sitting on chairs below them. So I would like to offer to host it here. If you're comfortable with that.
Yeah, we can do the duck bob. Sorry.
We could turn them like a V so that we could see each other a little better.
It's gonna
But
be
then
like
I'd be in the
You'd
middle
be
and like,
in-
everything will fall through.
We could get you like a little corner piece that sits
on the other side of
Corner
this.
piece. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
And I will also verify if Emily's going to be here. I'll reach out to Megan and request that Megan is
Okay.
available.
Oh,
damn lawyers.
sure she will be.
Yep, me too.
No, they-
Yeah.
So what time
But
are we
I
gonna do
think
this on the 19th?
I don't know. We weren't offered times, we were just offered days. Is there a time preference?
I think that somebody might need to be reminded that it's a conversation between their council and our board, more so than
Their turn.
their attorney. Yeah.
It's just gonna be at 6 o'clock.
I will reach out to Leon. Well, I can text him right now and see
Mm-hmm.
if he has an idea for time and then let me know if he responds.
What are you thinking, Ramona?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll make it work. Did we change the policy committee meetings yet or no?
Oh, actually, those are on Thursdays.
Yeah, it's on my calendar. That's for Thursday evening
Oh, right,
at
right.
6:00.
Well, maybe the committee can meet without any board member present, and we'll call her good.
Yeah.
Or we just cancel the meeting, because we do them weekly. So.
There's only one other meeting, the community library.
Okay.
In Post Falls that night, but I might be able to get an answer with the email from them.
Were you able to look on Edmonton?
I was not, no.
Okay.
I mean, not because I just haven't had time to log in.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. The 4-wheeler was $2,200.
Five.
What's that?
And you paid what?
500.
Right. Which
I
wasn't
think it was
before.
$475 is what it was paid.
Now we're down to $475.
I'm pretty sure that
Yeah, we got an email. I think
Yeah.
it was all explained.
Okay. All right. When was it purchased? Do we recall?
2011.
Okay. Thank you.
Used.
Obviously, for $2,200. Okay, financial follow-up. So it looks like the summer food service program was successful. I'm cautioned by canceling Ethel, simply for the mere fact that we just put it there, and that potentially if there's a familiarity, the numbers could increase. We're on financial follow-up. It's recommended that we terminate or discontinue services at Ethel, but we just did it this year. And
For food service.
for food service, yeah.
Chair Thompson.
Yeah.
That was just informational. When we bring this in the spring, that I'm not asking for a decision to be made tonight. It's just information for you for consideration for the future.
Right. No, I understand that there's no decision on this. It's information provided, but your information that you've provided is asking us to consider discontinuing something we just did. And I don't know if that's prudent, but I'm not sure. What is the employee assistance program?
It's a counseling that's available to staff members.
Okay. And the district pays for that?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's part
Benefits
of it.
package. Okay.
I think you have up to 6 positions.
Actually, it comes with the policy. It's a generic Blue Cross offering. Everybody that has it, basically, who has through an employer has that service. It's something Blue Cross does.
Oh, okay.
And it's more than just counseling. They provide all kinds of services to the enrollees.
No, I'm sorry, actually it is separate outside of Blue Cross, and it does provide 6 sessions of free counseling, but also work life tools such as financial assistance, online legal forms. You can maybe seek assistance for reduced legal counseling, but it protects us if our employees are,
But it's through Blue Cross, right? I mean, we use it for our employees.
Yeah,
That's why
this
we have the same thing.
This
So.
is through BPA, and it's separate, and you can get additional things through Blue Cross as well. But this is
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. That's what they always called it.
It's a nominal fee for.
What is the insurance at $42,987? Because we got life insurance and health insurance,
Chair Thompson.
and then we're down here to insurance.
The insurance is the portion of the ICRIP policy.
Okay. That's like that. All right.
You have new, since I did move personnel into the Board of Education budget this year, based on our conversation last year, you'll see the salaries and benefits associated with the position moved into that
I see
budget.
that. Idaho School District Council, what is that for our high school students? Their student council for, because I know they all got together, and then I think there's more to it, but is that what that's for?
I will have to, I think so, but I will verify.
Okay.
Mr. Hoffman is here. Which document are you looking at?
Board of
The
Education.
financial follow-up.
Well,
It's Board of Education.
oh, thank you.
Yep, it's the second page toward the middle. Got a note.
Oh, yeah, it's their dues. So,
Dues.
it's our student council dues to the Idaho State Student Council.
Okay. That's what I thought, but I just wanted clarification. So annoying. The LHS irrigation that we agreed to move forward with, why is there a note possible LHS field house quote for 27.7?
Chair Thompson, the quote for irrigation was 27.7. The note for possible field house was my note. Wondering if that was potentially an agreed upon site to move the field house from the initial location proposed by Principal Hoffman.
There was some concern at the last meeting about the location. I think Trustee Jones brought up that he was concerned about putting the field house in the middle of the parking lot on the teacher side of the school. Mm-hmm. And so in looking at other areas of the campus where it might fit better, that was one of them. And so that was just a note to.
Okay.
I was talking to Jimmy about it too, and the sewer's there and the water's there too,
Mm-hmm.
and parking. Right. It's all right there.
I just
so you wouldn't have to
hesitate to put $30,000 into irrigation if we're going to potentially rip it up to put a field house on top of it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then on the concrete, I'm assuming the notes aren't accurate. I would assume that the additional concrete projects, along with the concrete projects, all of that is going to require a re-release with bid.
My apologies for not catching that.
Okay. Any other questions on financial follow-up? Any other questions? No. Okay.
Chair Thompson, if I may. Trustee Jones, I did confirm that the Jimmy's roofing was the flashing on Sparrow Lake.
Yeah.
Yep.
I assume that's what it was.
I was able to pull the contract to look at it. It was flashing. So, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to facilities.
Thank you.
Leon Deuce texted me back and said 6 o'clock on the 19th.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you want to come up, Mr. Wilson?
Hey, Mr. Wilson.
Wilson, Interim Director of Facilities.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for stepping into that position. It is appreciated.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
He is baptism by fire right now.
All right.
He's doing a great job.
Has, I know that Emmerich had talked a little bit about what was missing and going to occur, et cetera. Where are we standing?
We had a follow-up with Emmerich this morning at 10 a.m. and the final pieces were supposed to hit Spokane today, and then would be installed either tomorrow morning or after school or Friday, depending on if they did hit Spokane.
Okay.
So that was the latest, and then we can follow through on the remaining punch list items and just get a final on it.
Perfect. Awesome. And you're working with the principals for the playground equipment for Garwood and Betty Keeper?
Jessica's been more involved with that than I have.
Okay. What is the stair treads quote? What's that about?
It's staircases at Timberlake High School
Right.
that go to the weight room upstairs.
Okay.
Quote for that. There's some photos that were sent to me today on the condition of the stairs.
That's lovely. Whoa. Yeah. Yep. So this would be replacing the rubber tread.
Yeah, that's what the first one is. For the 6927 per staircase.
I'm not gonna forget you.
Okay. So we're looking at roughly 13,000 to do 2 staircases.
Yeah, I mean almost 14.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who's the provider?
This is Fairway Floors.
Did you have any other bidder?
This is all that I've seen so far.
It seems pretty steep to me.
Do you know how many stair treads there actually are?
I do not.
Okay. I suppose we could count them, but I don't know.
Yeah,
if
but I
that's all
don't
there are.
know where the.
It's 4 foot wide.
I believe so.
It does seem steep, but it is petroleum product.
Is that replacing the entire tread or just that front cap that looks like it's
I actually was
crumbling
not
on
involved in the
okay?
quote piece, so I'm not.
Okay.
Like, does it go all the way? Is it the entire step?
It's actually a roll.
This
one's fully intact. It's all,
yeah, I just
it's all
didn't know
one
if it
piece.
just went back to the brown right there.
Yeah, this tread is all one piece. It comes over and then wraps down. I'm going to ask another silly question. Do you know how many steps are involved?
I do not.
Michelle already asked that.
And no, not a worry. I know we've got a quote coming later on in the agenda, but for Sensky, do you feel that would be beneficial for our district?
Throughout the district, I do feel like the Sensky contract is beneficial.
Okay.
And I do have that agreement below.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, that was for this. Okay, this was what was uploaded. No, I didn't. Maybe I did. I don't remember. Okay.
I don't know exactly how high that loft is. Normal 2-story house, there's 13 steps from one floor to the next, which if you're doing 2 sets, that would be 26 steps. Divide that into the total dollar amount, and you find out how much per step it's costing you. And I think it's pretty steep.
Okay, yeah, I can look into that.
There may be more than 13, I don't know. That could be a little higher.
Yeah, I believe it is a little bit higher, but yeah, I will find that out.
That's still $1,000.
Would you like us to seek an additional quote just to see?
I would. Yeah. And you can do some online research too, and find out, really what the costs of those are.
Okay.
And then the installation, of course, it doesn't matter, but
Those concrete stairs?
No, they're wood.
Wood? You put that non-skid on there.
I know, okay.
Yeah, there might be other options.
Um,
But you can buy that tread stuff yourself. You know, it's not that hard to install, I don't think. Anyway, yeah, I would suggest you look a little further.
Good.
It needs to be done, obviously.
Yeah.
on the asbestos abatement for LMS, how many classrooms is that? Do you know?
I believe it was 8.
Okay. Is that all we have left? Or is that all we found and then we're going to have more later on down the road? Do
I'm
we know?
actually not sure. I do not.
Okay.
Yeah, we are not sure. I want to say that that's what we have left. I was actually at Lakeland Middle School today and I talked to the custodian there, Crystal, and included in the abatement part is her custodial closet has that same asbestos tile and it is cracking, so and it's not covered, so we definitely need to get that taken care of. And there was one other small area in the school that has that same asbestos tile. And so she said when they came in to do the bid for the asbestos abatement that they calculated that square footage as well. So it's the 8 classrooms plus the 2 smaller storage areas.
Are we limping along until summer?
I would, Jessica, our CFO, has some ideas about how to fund this. I would love it if we could do the asbestos abatement during Christmas vacation because there's going to be some time, and then we can work through putting the carpet down.
You really can't do it when the building's occupied.
Right. So if we did it
Right.
during Christmas vacation,
When no one's there.
and when nobody's there. Otherwise, we do have to wait till summer, and I would rather not. I would like
Well, the
to get
smaller sections maybe, I mean, if you're talking the janitor's room and whatever other small space, couldn't that be done like on Thanksgiving break? That's a whole week.
right.
Everybody gets off. Okay.
I mean, and maybe they could start the project Thanksgiving week and identify what they can get done in that amount of time and then finish at Christmas.
The problem with doing that is you're gonna pay a second set of startup costs.
Okay.
They're gonna charge you for the time that they come out and set up.
Get
set all the
everything set
equipment
up.
out and set all the tinting up, and it's a pretty involved process.
Okay.
It takes probably a minimum of a day just to set up for it.
Okay. Okay.
So Christmas would be the more reasonable
Yeah.
time.
Okay. As long as they could accomplish 8 classrooms in 2 weeks. Yeah, that's.
Over Christmas. Right.
Just rid of that carpet.
We're working on it, Dan.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
I don't know, we're gonna replace, what are we gonna replace? We're gonna replace the tile with carpet?
I don't know.
That's one of the quotes. I was just actually looking because Mr. Foley wanted provide.
We did talk about carpet at one time, and I think we had a quote for it. But maybe we can just, sand
Stain
it,
it or
stain the
That would be
concrete, call it good.
That would be awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
And
That
if a
would be-
teacher wants a rug, they can bring a rug or whatever they want to do to make their own classroom. But if we start doing that little by little, we'll save lots of costs.
Absolutely.
And it'll last forever.
Yeah, I think upfront costs are more obviously, but the long term
Mm-hmm.
maintenance of it would be obviously much less. So.
Right.
Oh, here we go.
Right.
It's
It
Mike.
looks good.
Um,
great.
So Mike, I asked about it, and he said the cost to polish and seal the concrete would be extremely expensive up front compared to carpet, but we would save on the ongoing maintenance costs. Carpet in classrooms adds an acoustic and safety element, making it the best choice in his opinion. And then he's working on, and at that point he was working on the abatement costs.
Okay.
From Timberlake High School, there are 20 stairs per side.
20?
20.
Okay, so we got 40 steps.
Mhm.
Divide that into 14, 300, and see what it costs.
346.35 per step.
Wow.
346.35 per step.
Take advantage of these school districts.
So let's just round up to $350 a step.
Yeah. $350
That's a lot of
stack.
dollars.
You can go online and check the price of the material and see what part of that $350 is just for material and how much they're charging you for installation.
Well, and do we want to go with that same material if it's just getting, I mean, is that the original?
It's the original.
It's the original material. So I guess it's
It's very typical for that kind of
Stair treads.
situation.
yeah.
Rubber stair treads.
Do you want to talk to them about the cost of the abatement?
I'd be happy to. Jessica Yatham, Chief Finance Officer. Want to, we do have several pots of money within the plant facility levy. We had some carryover last year of unspent funds for furniture and building. And then we had allotted $100,000 each for furniture and building emergency repairs this year. So if we take the 204 for the abatement and the carpet out of that, and factor in a couple other projects that are coming up, we would leave ourselves about $60,000 for emergencies this year. The other option that we could pursue, which would be my recommendation, and talking with Superintendent Arnold would also be her recommendation. We had a line item in the plant facility levy for this year for $220,000 for continuation of carpet projects at some of the other schools. I'd like to allocate that towards the abatement and the floor. It's actually a little bit more than we need, so if we would like to see if the concrete would work, we could do that or do the carpet. We can do those continuation of carpet projects with the $18 million that we'll be receiving from the state shortly. So that's my recommendation in order to move forward with this quickly, to reallocate that 220 towards this specific project, which would leave emergency funds for us for the remainder of the year, just in case something else pops up, we would have the ability to cover it.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Have we reached out to vendors and contacts that Adam is now our interim facilities director?
I have been passing that on with anybody that I have been working with. We can make a conscious announcement though and send something out and let them know.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Absolutely.
I just know I've been in a situation where I've called to talk to somebody. Oh, they're no longer, and then you just
Awkward. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any further discussion on the facilities?
The authorization of the funding, is that going to be an action item? Somewhere, sometime?
No one asked for an action item on it, so it's not on the agenda.
But if you want authorization to use those funds, we need to do something.
I apologize. We were just looking at the funding for that in the last 2 days.
Okay.
So you don't need that right now?
I mean, we wouldn't be able to get started on the work potentially until December. I will make sure to have it on the October board meeting to do that reallocation, and hopefully by then we would know if we were able to schedule the abatement at that time.
That would probably be good to find out if they could even meet the December timeline.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. And hopefully get some additional quotes.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Trustee Grissom had sent me a link to grants from the federal government for abatement of asbestos, especially in public schools. But the document, it was from 1992, I think, and it's no longer there. So,
Well, it went to the state. All the schools in the country were supposed to do the abatement and the abatement plan in the 90s. It was supposed to be done. And we were supposed to have an abatement plan for the district. But I would also reach out to the state and ask them, if they know of any funds that are out there for anything like that, any kind of facilities. They'll probably send you to the 18 million.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen, but I would be happy to follow up with our contact in the state for that.
Yeah. Because I'm sure there's, many, many schools throughout the state.
the same issue.
Yeah.
There's rubber stair treads right here for $50 a piece
Right.
instead of 300 and
350.
each. Yeah.
I'm assuming part of that quote is also the installation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
of the
but-
stair
for it.
Labor is not cheap anymore.
I'm sure it is,
Charge
but-
$300 per stair is a little bit.
We do have some purchasing contracts through a couple different, KCDA is one of them. I know that Great Force is one of the ones that's under that, so we can reach out to a couple of those and see if they're able to provide a more competitive quote.
You can also reach out to Comex Board.
Or we can just do it ourselves.
Are you gonna do that?
Yeah, I'll do it. Why not?
To have a public works.
Bob will.
Not really.
It's not that hard. It's
It
glue.
isn't.
You get that stuff off.
Scrape it off.
Smooth it out. And put some
I know
glue
a
on it,
guy.
set it in.
So.
Okay. I need some volunteers.
Oh, he would love that.
What are we gonna do with the elevator up there? Are we ever gonna be able to do anything with that, or should we?
The 18 million.
So it is part of the 18 million. As we were entering everything, Trustee Grissom, as we were entering everything into the MAPS program that they have for this funding, it actually tells you if you've marked anything poor, it is going to force you to replace it as part of your 10-year plan. So I anticipate what's going to come out of this. The buildings that need new electrical will be top priority because they're going to force our hands to do that, which we should. And then the elevator, because it is out of commission. Same with the generator at Timberlake High School. Since it is out of commission, I have a feeling that that will be what they are going to expect us to prioritize on our 10-year plan with that fund.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further conversation on any of the follow-up?
No, thank you for being
Thank you
here.
both.
You can, I know you have children now.
I think you're good. We've got the sense keeping.
Yep.
Thank you for
I mean,
coming.
you certainly can stay if you want, but I know
Yeah,
you have
it's
children.
barrel number. He's here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Jumping into action items, we're gonna go down to the gate fees, I-9. So it's been recommended that we increase our gate fees from $5 and $6 to $5 and $7. Mr. Neff?
Yeah, Matt Neff, Activities Director, Lakeland High School. So we're currently 6 and 5, and the league had voted about a month ago to bump that to 7 and 5.
Okay.
What are you gonna do with all that extra money?
How much time do we have?
Disneyland.
Initially, I was concerned about bringing this to the board, but in sitting down talking with Mr. Neff, he did point out to me that a lot of our people who come to our games are not paying gate fees. Parents are buying Booster Club passes. That money goes to the Booster Club. Our veterans and our seniors get in free. We're the only district in our area that does that. Everybody else charges.
Who do the gate fees go to?
They help support the
Entire
programs.
athletic.
When you say support, does that mean they go directly back to the school, 100%?
Yeah, they don't come to
Okay.
us. They're, that's
That's
at
the schools.
At the schools,
Even
Okay.
though they're school district funds, they get to keep.
they do get to keep.
They buy our basketball, volleyball nets. I mean,
Okay.
they
So it's
help
part of your
fund,
budget.
yeah, swim caps. I mean,
Okay.
I can provide you a plethora of things, but
I
one
just
of the
wanted to make
things
sure
that
that's where they went.
that I kind of learned through that process is, you know, if we were to stay at 6 and 5 and not go up to $1, well, the rest of the league's doing it anyway.
Right.
So then our fans go and pay that
Yeah.
and enrich their programs, and then their teams and parents come to ours and pay less
Right.
and don't enrich ours.
Right.
And you know, besides our home events, probably 75% of the events that we participate in are somewhere else.
Mhm.
So I think it's in our best interest to enrich and supplement our programs instead of just helping Coeur d'Alene and Post Falls because they're doing it anyway.
Right.
You know, ideally, I'd love to just have it stay where it is forever, but you know, just the cost of doing business, everything's gone up, and so this is really a year where I think in the last couple of years we've just seen this huge uptick in the cost of things that, whether it's a stair tread to whatever it is. So
Right.
I feel like a dollar is a small increment that every dollar does help,
Mhm.
but yet it's not going to be a shock to people. And I do, and Lisa's right. We offer more exceptions to our fans than any school in our league. For, like I said, from senior citizens to veterans, we don't even charge elementary kids.
Right.
You know?
And nor do we charge any of our staff
Okay.
to attend the play, so.
Any questions? Anything I'm leaving out?
Man.
Sure.
Any questions from anyone else on this? No.
What's the percent of increase?
Chair Thompson, Trustee Jones, I apologize. The percent increase is 16%. I do have to publish it before you make a decision. I apologize. I didn't realize this was on the agenda tonight. So it will have to be published per Idaho Code 631311A. So I will publish it and we can bring it back to October.
Okay.
I apologize.
Moving on.
Good catch, thank you.
I don't think it was published the last time, so.
Football will be over with.
It wasn't? No. Yeah, it has to be on this fee schedule. We have to have a fee hearing if it's above a 3% increase for any change.
That's why Mr. Jones is asking.
And you guys had asked previously about the bathroom project. They are roughing in the electrical today. The plumbing's been done. The roof was put on. They're going to meet next week on the asphalt being put in. So there's some really big steps that are happening
Finally happening.
as of late. So
Yeah.
pretty excited about that.
It's a $250,000 project, and 100% of the labor and materials is donated by community members.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we really need to start recognizing, I mean, between all the bathroom and everything that went on at the middle school and then over, I mean, I don't know what we do, but we need to do
We've been putting it out through our social media.
Yeah.
I've got banners up. Really, Lexar Homes is the one key driving force behind that project now. They actually approached us, last spring. The owner comes in and just says, "Hey, I want to help. Is there anything you guys need?" And I said, "Actually, I need someone to help me with this project because I'm not a builder." So he speaks our language. He meets with the permits for all of these things. I mean, this guy's been a lifesaver because, you know, I have another job, and so trying to juggle these things and learn. And so this guy's been great. And he goes, whatever it is we've needed on that project, from a roll-up door to the electrical pieces, he goes out and gets those individuals. So he's been a lifesaver. So trust me, I thank that guy every single time we text back and forth.
Well, and I think it's good for the community to understand that we are very prudent with the monies that we do get, especially when it comes to levy time. I don't think they have a clear understanding of the hundreds of thousands of dollars that the community just happily gives because they believe in the district, and that we do take the money we ask for the levy to literally keep the building standing, hire the staff we need. You know, so I think it would be if we could somehow show a cumulative total of here's how much money's you saved this year, you know?
Yes, and so we are working on, we started it yesterday, it's a draft right now, we're going to finalize it next week, but we're putting a protocol together for when school buildings request a project that they're working on, because we've had some projects that have gotten started, donations, but facilities isn't looped in right away, or I don't know that it's happening, so I need to shore that up. So we have a protocol, and one of the check boxes on the protocol is that the school will provide to me a list of all donors, so that we can, and what the dollar amount is, so that we can do exactly what you're asking, and then Jackie will make sure that those donors are on our website.
Yeah.
With a big thank you. So,
Well, we have an announcement part of every one of our monthly meetings
Right.
to, you know, when a project is complete, we can thank those donors during that time too.
Yeah.
You know, from the board, a thank you.
Right.
Besides.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, some of those contractors, particularly smaller contractors, like to have a little framed letter or
Right.
some kind of little certificate or something like hang on the office wall, you know, that people can see when they come in.
Yeah, that's a good idea
It's a
too.
small token, but it's real work.
Well, we actually started that this year just at Lakeland High School for our sponsors. We put together a letter that we now send out to each one of them. I sign each one. We even take a picture of what they're actually getting so they can actually see what their sponsorship is going towards.
Yeah.
We just started that this year, and I think it's been a good outreach to all of our community members. Like, here's what your dollars go for, and thank you for doing it. And I sign each one. People still like to get a letter.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And most of the time, that's all they're really doing, just to thank you. You know, and it makes them feel good, right? Because they can see the fruits of their labor in their own community. You know,
This is a very generous community, and people are definitely willing to support the work that we're doing. So it's good to acknowledge those people.
well, and I think that's what makes us different in our district is the community. You know, because it really is community. You know, it's not us and them, and it's everybody working together. I think that's awesome. I don't have any more questions or comments.
Okay.
Good job, Matt.
Yes, thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So on this publication, we're publishing to just inform, correct? Or what are we publishing for?
If you're gonna increase fees, you have to
Notice.
have a public hearing.
Okay.
So just like our budget hearing, we have to have a public hearing, where people can come and comment and, yeah,
On
so
the
you have
dollar
to, you
increase.
have to notice any increase over 3%.
Okay.
What's the concern?
Go ahead.
I was just curious, what's our percent?
It's
16.
16. The $1 is 16% increase from 5. Yeah.
It's interesting because all of the other schools at their league, they just make that decision at their school level, so they should be doing that too.
And we did that
Yes.
before,
Yeah.
with the prior CFO. We just raised the fee. So,
Typically, this comes through the budget process and it's published as part of the budget hearing. At the bottom of the budget hearing, that required publication. We did post separately last year when we increased base rates because it wasn't ready at the time of the budget hearing publication. The requirement per law is anything over 5%. We do have to notice once a week, 2 weeks prior before the meeting. So we'll post 2 weeks prior to the October meeting, once a week each, and it'll be able to be confirmed at that meeting.
when can a notice, I hear what you're saying, but if I asked for a notice to be published right away, when would you be able to publish the notice?
If I were to get it to Coeur d'Alene Press tomorrow, they would not publish till Saturday. So the soonest we could do something if they published.
Have to be published twice.
Yeah, I have to publish twice. So if we published
The 14th and the 21st?
the 14th and the 21st, we could do it that following Monday.
I would say we do
Oh,
that. Otherwise,
Actually, it's 2 full weeks. I apologize. So if we publish the 14th, the 21st, that we would be able to hear it on the 30th. Am I looking at that correctly? No, the 27th would probably be the soonest. Because it has to be 2 full weeks in the paper. So if we publish the 14th, 1 week would be the 20th, the 21st, the second week would end. It would be the 28th technically. So we could either do it on the 30th or say we publish the full 2 weeks because it's the last day of the 2 weeks and do it on the 27th.
would you be opposed to holding a special meeting just to get this done before football season's over, which is our main revenue generator?
You're gonna meet on the 30th.
I don't have a problem with that. It's Monday.
Here, so that's fine.
All right, Bob. I see how you are.
The 30th for a quick
public hearing. Yeah.
What time would you like me to post that?
Ramona, would that work?
Sure.
Okay.
5:30.
Should we do 5:30?
I'll just scramble over here as fast as I can.
Okay.
Can I get a room
5:30.
We'll get you a cot.
Thank you. I appreciate your understanding.
Absolutely. Thank you for catching that.
What was that statute again that you said 63?
63, 13, 11A.
Oh, 1311. Thank you.
All right.
Good catch.
Any other? Okay. Let's move into our back up to L.1. I.1, sorry. Board policy. We have the advanced opportunities. We have the policy and the form that goes with that. We have the extended learning opportunities, the policy, the application, the guidelines, and the evaluation. We have the electronic devices, policy and procedures. We have student fees, fines, and charges. I thought on electronic devices, our guidance was that they were not to have them in school. Isn't that correct? And that Bob wanted it to be explicit that they're not to be used in school.
What are you saying? I'm sorry.
When we met little bit back, we brought this to the board because there was input. You wanted it to have explicit language that if we're not going to allow them to be in school, that it state that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but it looks like we're allowing them to have them in school, specifically high school. And I thought that the direction from the board was not in high school. I mean, no, where they can use them before school or after school, or during their lunch period, because at the high school level, you can't control that. But we have it in here that they're using it in between classes.
Yeah.
I think that's problematic. I wasn't at this policy committee. I was homesick.
Yeah, I thought we talked about striking or taking out the between classes.
Yeah.
I thought that's what we were brought last time we talked about this.
We did.
Was that the between classes would be taken out, so it would only be before and after school and during their lunch period. Because lunch period they can go off campus anyway. So
yeah, there's
whatever.
no control on that at the high school level. Yeah, because I think that second paragraph needs to be revised as well. Because we're basically saying you have the right to bring it to school and use it on school property. And then, yeah, I don't know that there were many changes made to this. And again, I wasn't at that meeting because I was sick.
well, do we table this until corrections can be made?
Yep. Sounds good to me.
I will move to table item I1C.
Second.
We have a motion to table in a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Do we have any conversation on the advanced opportunities policy or form?
No, I don't have any.
Okay. What about
Extended learning opportunities.
the extended learning opportunities, the application or guidelines or evaluation?
That's good.
Okay. Student fees, fines, and charges.
So I would move to approve I1A, I1B, and I1D.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving on to the supplemental curriculum.
Board Chair Thompson?
Yeah.
I did receive today a request to table, it was 3 books and I don't have the list in front of me now, so I know that 2 of the 3 for sure, which was Fault in Our Stars and Speak. Dr. Pasley was working with the librarians at the middle level and some teachers, and they would like to all kind of present together some information to the board before you make a decision about those. So if I was asked to ask you if you would be willing to table those for tonight, and we'll bring them back.
So Fault in Our Stars,
And
Speak, and what was the third one?
I can't remember. It's on a sticky note, and it's not right here. I was just scrolling through. It's on your desk. It's on your desk. Thank you. Thank you, Rebecca.
Maybe it was Pay It Forward.
That might have been it.
It was.
That
Pay
would
It
make
Forward
sense.
was tabled from last
Yep.
Yeah.
meeting. However, it has the same controversial
Right.
opinions as the other two books.
Yeah. I do believe that you are correct about that. That's what it was.
So you're recommending the rest of the list be approved? That's those you've identified.
Yes.
So moved.
I do have a question on, it looked like some of these were plays, or were they just ELA, like radio drama,
No,
or do you know?
hard questions, Chair Thompson.
Sorry.
Dr. Pasley is our guru. Yep, pay it forward. So can you tell me which titles you're looking at specifically?
Like the dinner party, I think Sorry Wrong Number, The Monkey's Paw, I believe, The Landlady. I was just curious, are these ELA books or are they?
I believe they're all books, but Lan is the one who, Lynn's the one who works with the teachers on this, so I honestly don't know.
Okay.
I'm
So let's
sorry.
bring it back next month.
Well, Bob did make a motion to approve.
I can text Dr. Pasley.
That's okay. I mean, that's what they are. You open it up and it is a script.
Well, then
They're all
then it's a
scripts.
script.
But I was trying to understand if we are developing drama programs at middle school or if these are being read in ELA, doing like a radio dramatization. That was my question.
Yeah, and I don't.
Okay.
This Monkey's Paw looks like it's actually like a short story, is the way that it looks like it's written to me. But
Okay.
yeah,
Just
You
trying to
move
get some
to
context.
approve, except the tabled ones.
yes.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay. 3 in favor, 2 opposed. Motion carries.
So I have a question based upon one of the comments on the supplemental that was in there. Have we removed the book? Hold on, let me go back down here. It was the ones about the Holocaust, because the comment was, and I don't know who made the comment, that probably would answer my question, but so it was The Girl Who Survived. There's a comment. It said it's a great alternative to Night by, and I'm going to butcher his name, I know who he is, but
Elie Wiesel.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, so have we removed his book?
No.
In place of, okay. But is this book favored? But I'm just concerned that there's an opinion saying one is more appropriate than than the other, and that's really subjective perspective.
Absolutely.
And that might be
Because he was there in the concentration camp, so I don't know
it's
how.
his memoir.
Yeah, how his.
We definitely use that book at 8th grade.
Yeah.
So I don't know who made that comment, and I haven't read.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this new one.
The girl who survived.
But just the language, a great alternative too. So I don't know what her perspective was, but.
And maybe it's there, instead of using the same book every year, if they're not going to use LJSD, they're using this one instead. There's no way to know without being able to ask the person.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else, Trustee Russo?
No, that was it.
Okay.
For now, thank you. I
Yeah.
will have to read the other book though.
Okay. I'm curious.
Gotcha.
We have 3 alternative authorizations. What is a content specialist?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I apologize.
That's okay.
That is, that's the type of alternative authorization that we do. It's based off the fact that they have in their transcripts a bachelor's degree that matches the content that they're applying for. This one, I think which one are you looking at?
Well, the very first one.
Okay, the very first one. And that one is for a kindergarten position, so it would be a K-8 endorsement.
Okay. So are we doing an alternate authorization for the K-8 endorsement?
Yeah.
Or
Yes.
Okay.
That's just the title of the type of.
Yeah, it's the type of alternative
State.
authorization. It's based on the fact that.
Okay, because 2 of them were content specialists, and the other one was actually for teaching.
Well, yeah, they're all 3. Actually, I apologize. If you look at the, you'll see tonight on when you sign them, they're all 3 content specialists. That's how they're all 3 coming through.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I was not consistent in my memo there.
I've never seen content specialists.
Yeah.
It's the first time. Usually it's for a K through 8 endorsement or some sort of identifier that these are actual teachers that are just needing whatever they need to for their certification.
They have different alternative authorizations. Like they can do like a teacher to new endorsement. They can do a content specialist, and then there's like a 3rd one. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say these alternative authorizations that they're doing, are they just based upon the credits that they've already acquired, or they have to do praxis tests?
So
or how are
yes,
I now know which route
they're all
taking.
3 enrolled in a program. I think 2 of them are in Lewis and Clark, and the other one are ABTCE. I have. Let's see here. This first one, she was actually certified before a long time ago. But because she's been out of it, she had the fastest route for her was the ABTCE program. And then the other 2 are in Lewis and Clark.
Okay.
And all 3 have their bachelor's degrees.
Okay.
I just know that they have that alternative route, so they don't, if they can show, because they give them like so many points, 15 points for so many credits, then they don't have to stress over
that's
the
the
test.
uniform. That's the uniform testing, but they don't have it in these cases.
Gotcha.
So we had one alternative route that we did approve that way.
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. I don't have any further questions.
This authorization good for 1 year.
So you can on these particular ones 3 years in order for them to finish their program.
So if we approve them tonight, they're approved.
Well, I may have to bring them back again for a renewal next year.
They have to be able to demonstrate a certain amount of progress for the state to give them their 2nd year.
Okay, so we're just doing 1 year at a time.
Right.
Okay.
For sure.
Or say? Nope. Okay.
Ready to go.
Yep.
I'll move to approve as requested.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving on to the graduation dates and locations.
Move to approve as requested.
Second.
We have a motion and a double second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving on to the Delta Dental Free Clinic. Any conversation?
This is something that we've done in our district for forever, but when it came, I got the letter this year, it came to me, and so I just thought you at least needed to be aware that we were providing the opportunity for this free service. Obviously, only with parents' permission, but that's why it's on here for you.
So they're only visiting Spirit Lake and Athol?
That is what they indicated in their letter to me, yes. John Brown, principal, was disappointed.
What do we have to do to get a similar program for them? Is there anything we can do? I know they stated this was based upon the free lunch and all that, but can we find out from them what it would take to get them in our other elementary schools?
Yes, especially since John Brown is actually our highest free and reduced lunch school.
Right.
So the fact that that's what they're using as
right.
Maybe they can only do so many schools or something.
They didn't even pick the one in our district that has the highest level of free and reduced. So I can reach out to them and see if they would be willing to add John Brown or what that looks like.
Okay.
I mean, even if we could, whatever. I mean, I think that's cool. I used to like that program when I was a kid. You can tell I have fond memories of it.
Did you have to? Did you get the little
yes,
tablet?
chew it and then have to brush your teeth. Yeah, I love those things.
Let me see how badly you actually brush your teeth.
I think that'd be fun if it was in all the elementary schools. That would be, I think, great.
Okay, I will reach out. Thank you.
I'll move to approve since nobody else is doing motions.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. I am curious, did that motion happen to include the fact if they expand to other schools that we'd...
Yes, yes.
Just double checking.
Any that they're willing to visit.
Okay. Moving on to the LHS Veterans Memorial.
I think it's a great idea, but I think we need more concrete, and I like the memorial idea. My only concern is that it turns into a public space on the school grounds, and you really can't control who's coming and going.
True.
I like the idea. I love it. I think it deserves a place somewhere, but I don't know how we make that work. Yeah. That would be my only concern. Or we move the fence so they can't access. I don't know. I think we'd have a lot of legal issues.
Walkway's inside the fence.
Yeah.
It is inside. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's actually on school grounds.
Yeah,
right.
As I say, we'd have to move the fence and.
But that's what I'm saying, though. The fence is on the outside of the walkway. So
then
it's
they go through.
Is the walkway on school grounds, or is the walkway public grounds and our fence is on the outside?
It's on school grounds.
It's on school grounds, and we gave permission for that?
Yes.
We did? Okay. All righty then.
Yes.
Bob did.
Many moons ago.
All right.
It's on the school grounds, somebody did.
I'm not going to go there, but just saying.
Well, there's a long history to it.
I'm sure there is.
But when they redid the intersections, the state highway department came to us and they wanted some land, and so we worked out some agreements.
Okay.
Getting some land, and we got some things worked out.
Okay.
A walkway.
Well, that's a plus.
Walkway on the property.
I'm not comfortable giving land away, but I think the memorial is beautiful, and I think we would definitely benefit our community and our high school and our kids by having something that is very tangible, very real.
Yeah.
It'd be a great field trip for all of our schools to come to.
Yeah.
And Dave, do
To
you know,
see it, too.
did your dad look at any alternative sites? For that one, just kind of
I don't
wording like it.
You just
Yeah.
saw that. It's very
I
visible.
think because of the intersection,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Right.
so everybody's coming and going.
I've got something in mind, and I'm
Yeah. What are you thinking? That central property in the middle of town?
Can't,
He's got an idea.
No.
yeah.
He can't divulge that
He's not
information
gonna
currently.
share.
So I can't speak for nonprofit.
Right.
Right.
But it would be equally as public.
Right.
Visible and public.
I did a project a few years ago for another organization looking at the veteran population, and actually the 83801 zip code, which encompasses Athol, all of that, has the highest per capita rate of veterans in the entire state of Idaho.
Wow.
What the?
Yeah, Athol.
That's
Well, the
awesome.
83801 zip code, yeah, per capita. Then we beat everybody around.
And and it's rural, so
Yeah.
that says a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and the Marine Corps was the highest of the veteran population.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when you brought this, I mean,
I
I'd
think
love
it
to see
speaks to me because I feel this community is very patriotic. Our Veterans Day assemblies are very well attended by our community. So, I'd like to be able to find a way to make this happen, whether this is the right location or not. I do think that.
We could just move the fence. I mean, you already got the walkway. Just make a section. Put the walkway or put the fence. So the walkway's on the outside too. You know,
I think the fence
and
is.
then just go around the memorial. And then you have walkway still going to the memorial.
I think the fence is a buffer though. But if you've got, I think if we double fenced, or we basically have the walkway enclosed in fencing,
Right.
so that people can't meander onto school property,
Right.
and then fenced around.
But there's still, leave the one where it is and then add an additional one between the school and the memorial.
Exactly. So that
Like
you're
that.
giving, and then we can have extra space for banners. I mean, we've got lots of fencing going on. I think that is,
Yeah.
just multitasking here. But
Extra space for signs.
that's right.
It is the perfect location as far as like you're sitting at that intersection. No matter where you're sitting, you can
Right.
see
The visibility
Right.
of it is
Visibility is
fantastic, yeah. Yeah, it's too bad that property that we don't really use that's over behind
I know isn't
Mountain View
accessible
isn't very visible.
or accessible. Really,
Yeah,
for
true. Yeah, it's not very.
Our handicapped
And it
veterans.
would take a lot to,
Well,
as we've talked.
I would like to move to table the Veterans Memorial because we do need more information with respect to, at least for me, what our options are.
And there may be some legal issues.
Yeah. But I don't think it's something that should just, we're going to table it and put it on the back shelf. I think we need to keep moving forward in helping this come to fruition somewhere, either right there or so.
In the near future.
I will second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to table. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving on to co-curricular travel.
I think my dad's ready to pour concrete right now.
Yeah, I think so.
Sure he is.
I'm sure he is. It breaks my heart. It really does.
The Lakeland High School schedule is not 100% complete. I had major issues. And it's my fault. Matt sent me things. I could not find something in my settings isn't working right. I can't attach Google Files to an email. There's something going on, so I couldn't find it. And when Matt got it to me, Maria had already posted. The two for Lakeland
I was
are
going to
there.
ask about that.
And so those are from Allison Knoll. And then I do have the rest now, and there aren't any that we would need to take action on right now because they're gonna happen between now and October, so we're fine, and I'll bring those in October.
Okay.
That's, I don't know what's going on. I did a help desk ticket today for technology because something's not working with my computer.
Okay. Because I know Lakeland has FFA and I know they have BPA and all those good things.
Yeah.
All right. Move to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving on to the Senski contract.
Any questions?
The only thing I was a little confused on is that what it looked like for us to do it, even though I believe it said that it was the same cost as Senski, I calculated it at like $42,000 because we had to purchase the equipment, etc.
Yeah, so initially it will be more.
Most of the costs they credited to us are one-time costs. As opposed to an annual contract of $42,000.
Correct.
So that's a big difference.
That is a difference, but I don't understand how our costs would be exactly the same as Senski's. I thought that was a little odd, but anywho, any questions on whether or not we should or
Maybe
shouldn't?
they were just trying to show that what we could do for that same amount of money.
Maybe. I don't know.
Is there a guaranteed no dandelion
Clause.
That would
clause in
be
there?
Nice. I don't know.
Thought Bob would like that.
I think we need to, whatever, we probably need to just spray earlier. That's the problem, is they're spraying late and dandelions are growing. Because in the summertime, it's better.
And it looks like they do the backflow testing and all of that for systems. And sprinkler turn-ons.
Senski?
That's what it's saying according to the contract.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And I believe we would need to decide if we want to do just 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, or 5 year.
Yeah, so each year, I was a little bit confused initially. I said, well, we're not getting a discount by doing more years, but we lock in the rate, so if they increase next year, we need to stay, so that's the benefit to multi-year.
And it does look like we can terminate at any point in time, even if we're locked into a contract. Which is interesting. Because usually there's some sort of a buyout. Do we need to have any further conversation?
They don't mow our grounds. Why does the contract include lawn mowing?
Because I believe we would just be handing over all maintenance of grounds to Senski.
We've got lawnmowers that have been mowing lawns every year for eons.
Is this kind of like what Coeur d'Alene's doing with K-Tech?
Probably.
I don't know. They don't mow our lawns, so I don't know if that's all of the services they offer, but we don't use all of them. I mean,
This is how they do it if we sign up for that specific thing.
Right, and so so for that money, they're saying they would also do that, but they don't mow our lawns, so.
According to this agreement, though, they would be.
Well, and they're gonna gonna take care of the front beds too.
Right. They're
It
gonna
says
take over.
aerating.
Yeah, they do aerating.
Huh?
All the work you did, they shouldn't have done that.
They do
All the
aerate.
work our athletic directors were doing, or activities directors were doing.
And they don't edge, so.
I don't, this is a
So,
place.
since he doesn't edge.
They don't mind on the surface. All we get is their spray.
Right, they're spraying and they do aerate for us.
Well, then maybe we need to have someone review what they actually are going to be billing us for and what they're actually going to be doing or what they're saying they're going to do. Because according to their contract, they're supposed to be doing all of it.
Yep.
So
Maybe somebody else has some more information.
The exhibit only shows
Chair
the
Thompson,
sites and the spraying and aeration.
if you scroll to towards the end of the contract, it's the last page actually, it shows exactly what services they're providing. That's a boilerplate template contract. It covers everything, but this amendment addendum at the end actually shows what services they're providing for that dollar.
The A, B, and C, fertilization, broadleaf, weed, and crabgrass control,
Yep.
and then fertilization, broadleaf, weed, and then aeration.
Yes, and that gives you the square footage number of acres that they're covering with their service.
So that looks similar to Christine put in this.
This page.
Yeah, well, it's all on this too. Yep.
And then there's a, if you want
Right here. Yep. I already looked at that one.
that's something we're gonna look at here.
Right, but it's not attached to the contract. And the contract isn't. This is the addendum or the exhibit to it. So that's it. That's all they're doing. It's almost 100 acres, 98 acres. So do we need more clarification, or is we good, or what are we thinking?
I gave up thinking. So for them to do fertilization and aeration, it's $23,142.80.
Yes, for 98 acres.
Okay.
Which is a lot of spraying. I don't know if you ever sprayed, but it's a lot of work. 98 acres of spraying.
Okay. Anybody have any comments? Conversations needing to be had? Bob?
I can't do it.
Who's been we've been doing this, right?
No,
Oh, they've been doing it full time? Oh, really? And we had the dandelion crop Bob talked about?
Yeah, we got weeds everywhere. That's
Yeah.
the problem.
Oh. Oh, so it's, I mean.
Just
okay.
saying, they
So-
don't do a good job.
What are we gaining by this contract?
When I talked to Mr. Ferriola about the dandelions, it was about the timing of the spraying. We sprayed late, and so that's why the dandelions were there. But it's weed control. So after they were sprayed, they were, obviously it looked better. It was more timing than.
Okay, but I guess what I'm trying to get at is if we've been using Sinskey, we've never been under contract with them, what are we gaining by doing a contract now? Are we getting a discounted price? Are we getting more, obviously not more services, but what are we gaining?
I think, I might need some help from Jessica. I'm assuming, and this is an assumption because I don't know, that we've had this same document every year. We are bringing it to the board because we just realized that was happening, so you're getting it. I would assume that agreement was in place and these same things were happening.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that for sure.
Chair Thompson, Superintendent Arnold's statement is correct. This has been an agreement that's been signed year over year with Subsea. It was identified as part of the budget process as something that we could potentially have a savings on. Facilities did a lot of legwork to weigh out the pros and cons of that cost.
So I would guess that I would suggest to you that this should have been coming to you all along. So,
Okay.
This document.
Yeah, given the size of the contract.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We just got the handle on it, and so that's why it's here.
Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Have we taken the opportunity to see if there's anyone else in the neighborhood that could do the same job?
Additional quote?
Okay, happy to.
What's the other one?
There's True Green.
True Green.
There's 3 trees. There's multiple companies that do weed spraying. I think it's Darnell Sprinklers, Ultra Lawn is another one that does it commercially. So there's multiple companies we can reach out to.
And we have 3 trees. It's like their shop is right here. They're actually community members, so we could look there.
Is it going to require a public works license?
No.
I don't believe so, because they're licensed.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a construction project.
And they definitely have their own certifications and licenses and things they have to have to safely spray
Okay.
what they're spraying.
I move we table the Sinskey contract.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Going to the continuous improvement plan. We worked on this at our workshop, so this is the final plan.
I move to approve as presented.
Second. Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the plan carries, or the motion carries. For the plan.
And plan.
It all carries. Moving on to the strategic plan.
So I'm sorry that this is a little bit tardy because I brought it to you as a discussion item, and I don't know, it was a few weeks ago in the middle of the night I woke up and realized I don't think it ever came back for approval. So I checked with our board clerk, and she affirmed that for me, so I'm bringing it for approval.
I have no questions or comments.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving on to the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office MOU.
Oh, I see. Nothing there.
this was. Everything.
Move to approve the MOUs for,
It's
Twin
just,
Lakes.
just for Twin.
and Garwood.
Garwood's already been approved.
That was just for
I'm
comparison's sake.
I'm concerned why the Twin Lakes is costing more than the Garwood.
It's based on what his salary, the person who went to
That particular individual.
So we're gonna pay $90,000 for one SRO, and for one that's, no. It's supposed to be based on the column 4 of their pay grid, and plus their benefits. I have no idea what their benefits cost, but the pay grid is $57,000. So then you're telling me there's almost double in benefits that we're paying on this person more. I mean, it's more than Garwood.
Only by $200.
Garwood's was 88,
Right.
and this is 90,000.
That's $200 each
2,000.
month.
$200 more a month.
Yeah.
Also, this is asking for it to be on or before May 1st, but Garwood is, and that's on the planning meeting. This says May 1st, Garwood says April 1st. So I don't know why everything got changed if it was supposed to be the same.
I can, that's an easy change. I can change that to April 1st. And we do still have the our district
Opening.
safety specialist open, so.
I just don't understand why they were willing, and we're under contract. The contracts for the other SROs are parallel, and this is different, and it's more. And I don't understand that. I don't think it's right. Does anybody else have any other questions?
No.
I heard he's doing a great job.
I heard he learned how to open milk cartons for kiddos. That's awesome.
Well, I hear you as far as the cost and all that. My thing with approving these both is that they're paid for by the levy, and the taxpayers said do it. So as long as they understand this is, I mean, the cost is the cost.
Well, the levy dollars were for what we had before. This is a new add-on, and we don't have those new levy dollars yet. So
Right. Yet. Well, I mean, if we don't get the levy dollars, then,
there we go.
you know. But right now,
We
I
have the
think,
levy dollars to cover this school year.
so where are we at? We have a motion on the floor?
We don't have a motion on the floor yet.
I thought, Bob.
Oh, did you make a motion, Bob?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Good for you.
I think I heard it, but maybe not. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. 4 in favor, 1 against. Motion carries. Genesis Prep MOU. This is brought forward. Actually, we've not ever had an MOU for Genesis Prep Academy. I asked for one to be created because it was brought to my attention that we've been dual enrolling kiddos. We've been receiving funding for it, and we were going to stop doing that. And I figure if we're going to be choosing to not go forward with accepting funds that aren't, I mean, the funding comes from the state. It doesn't come from anybody else. And it was a significant amount, but if we were going to choose not to do that, I believe that needs to be a board decision because it was a significant amount of money.
Board Chair Thompson,
Yep.
it wasn't that we were not going to do it. When the legislature modified the law around advanced opportunities monies, they're $2,500 per student is now available to non-public school students. So we did reach out to Genesis Prep to see what their plan was with regard to whether they wanted to continue. And then at that point in time, we were also looking at having to cut the budget. So what I did ask was, can we just verify with the State Department how much money we get for the Genesis Prep kids, because we're paying $12,000 in stipends to counselors for the work that they do to get them registered and enrolled. And I was just trying to verify that we weren't losing money on the deal. And so we aren't. We get average daily attendance for them as long as they're in school, dual enrolled with us at least 2 hours a day, which is what the majority of them are. So there's a little bit of money. The kids who are 4 hours a day or more, which constitutes a full day, is somewhere between $6,000 and $8,000 per kiddo for us. And so it definitely covers the stipend. So that was the intention.
But aren't the stipends covered from, I mean, that's not money coming out of our district. It's money that we're receiving from NIC.
No, NIC stipends pay the counselors to enroll our students in NIC. The stipend for the dual enrollment has always been, the way that it was put in place has always been based on the fact that we're generating revenue by having those kiddos on our books. I just wanted to verify because I wasn't part of those initial conversations, and I wanted to verify that that was in fact what was happening and that we were not losing money.
And how much money did we earn last year?
It's really hard to say for certain, because when you nail the state down, they can't tell us how much each child is, and it all just comes through as units. But if you look at kind of the breakdown of the way that the state gave it to us, and I can pull up the email from Kim Suko and I can read it to you. It more than paid for it, and that was all I was looking for. So that I just wanted to make sure that we were being mindful of that, especially since we were having to.
But wasn't the income like over $100,000 that we received?
So we have no way of tying the dollars that
Directly.
are coming in for those students compared to our own students.
Right.
It's all a lump sum that comes in.
Right.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Jessica laid out for us.
Here we go. Let's see if this one's. Sorry. Kim did provide it to me, and I'm struggling with my search.
So these are kids from Genesis Prep that come here.
No, they are not on our campus ever. They are on NIC campus. So there's
When
no.
they go to NIC.
Mm-hmm. So prior to this last legislative session, they didn't have any access to advanced opportunities money. The only way to do that is to be enrolled in those dual credit classes through a public school. So the parents were dual enrolling their kids in Lakeland so that we could enroll them in the classes they were taking in NIC.
It's more past their money.
10%.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this came from Frank. But the the bottom line is we definitely, according to what they provided to me from the state, we do get more than what we pay out. And I'm struggling to find it. So I will find it and I will forward it to you so you have it.
Okay, help me out a little bit more.
Okay.
I hate asking dumb questions.
No
No
question is
such
dumb.
thing.
So the kids go to NIC, we get the money, and we pay NIC a portion?
No. Our counselors get a stipend because our counselors and our registrar get stipends because the registrar basically has to register the student as if they're a brand new student, so they're doing that extra work for them. And then our counselors are going into the Advanced Opportunities portal and registering the kids for the classes they're going to take on NIC campus. And because they're taking them on NIC campus, they're present 100% of the time. They're never marked absent. And then the counselors check on the kids periodically to make sure they're passing their classes. And then if there are issues where they aren't, they're communicating back to Genesis Prep and the parents, especially if they're catching it in time to withdraw before they fail a college credit. So they're spending a lot of time really monitoring those kids because they're never on our campus, so they don't have an opportunity to interact.
When you say they're never on our campus, do they come here to register?
That's the only time they're here.
Yeah, so they do come here to register. And our counselors are the only staff that are involved with working with them in whatever limited capacity that is.
So they don't take any class size space for us. They don't take teacher time for us. It's really just our counselors and our registrar to help the parents get the kids registered as a dual.
But we get to count them as part of our ADA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the amount that we get for the ADA is dependent on how many courses they're taking in NIC.
So we do get money,
Yeah.
but we don't.
Basically, it takes the number I do remember is that it was $6,000 to $8,000 for a full-time student. So anybody taking 4 hours of classes, right, or more. And so we paid out last year $12,000 in stipends.
To the counselors.
And registrar. Mm-hmm. And so it would take basically 2 to 3 kids who are taking 4 or more classes at NIC to cover that stipend, and we had several more kids than that who were participating.
So it really is
We were more than
positive cash.
yes, we were more than covering, and so we are doing it this year. But Michelle called me because she had heard that we weren't, and so I explained kind of what happened. And she asked at that point, do we have an MOU with Genesis Prep? And I said, no, we don't. And so she asked me to write one. So I did my best using an MOU that we have. And then I sent it to her because she knows the legal language and she edited it for me.
Did you send it to Megan like I asked?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it basically, she wanted to make sure that we, it said in there we're doing it and there's no compensation from Genesis Prep to us for the services rendered. And so that's what we encapsulated.
So we originally made that arrangement out of the goodness of our heart.
Somebody did.
Somebody did.
Mm-hmm. It's been happening for a long time.
Better than the Swiss Falls.
Well, and actually,
I'm surprised they don't.
Dina
go through
Nacarado found out about it last year and she was not happy that we're getting ADA for the kids.
That's
Swiss Falls.
How
Yeah,
did this happen? I know about that.
Yeah, yeah, we had a principal
Yeah,
over
right.
there who went to become a principal
Exactly.
over there, and that's how that happened. But
But we have there's a lot of their students out here in this area.
but we're on.
And we have community members that actually did teach or are teaching there too. So,
Yep.
and I think it's a good, we've always sort of had, the district's always had this relationship with that campus anyway, so.
Yeah, I just know that the Post Falls superintendent would like us to tell the Post Falls families that they need to enroll through their high school. And we let the parents know that, and the parents don't want to do that because this is the relationship that they know.
We've always
and they're
had,
comfortable
yeah.
with. And so
Yeah.
Or just open enrolling, dual enrolling kids. So,
I move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. And that is the last item for action. Moving into discussion. Okay. Do we need to take a quick break?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and take a quick 5-minute break. We're going to go ahead and get back on task here. Moving into our discussion items. Superintendent evaluation, but I thought that's why we were doing executive session.
These are the goals.
But no.
I don't know that I had superintendent evaluation in the executive session. I just had the item on to ask, and maybe I did. Maybe it was a rollover from last year and I missed it. Yeah. Yeah, so I just wasn't sure when you guys would be ready. I don't have the document yet, so it was just a reminder for the board.
Okay. So.
We don't have to do executive session.
That's awesome.
Okay.
All right, let's pound through these. Yep.
All right. So then when do we want to chit chat about the superintendent's evaluation?
If
Probably
you
the
could
sooner the better,
send me the goals document so I can put my goals together, then
Okay.
we could do an executive session at,
The 30th.
oh yeah, we could do that, because the
Oh,
October.
yeah, because that's going to be like a 5-minute meeting anyway, right? So
The October
that's a
meetings
good plan.
will be longer because of the audit, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Bob,
a really good
you can
idea.
send
Then-
your notes since you won't be here. So. I know. I feel the heartbreak. Okay. All right. So we'll choose the 30th.
And then will you be able to send me the document that you
Sure. Why not? Yeah. Can do all sorts of things. Even though I can't figure out Google.
Well, lately I'm struggling to do the same. So.
Can we just not use Google? I mean,
I'm
is there
gonna make that an
options?
action item.
Must be an accounting thing.
Okay, policies and procedures tracking. This was given to us by Dr. Pasley. Bottom line is she would like some direction for the policy committee, given that we need to go already back through all of our annual policies because our
We're supposed to do it
policy
annually.
says we have annual policies that we have to see every year. Plus, we have still a bunch of policies that we haven't revisited from 2007. So she would like to know if the board would like the policy committee to get through all the 2007 and then start on the annual, or buzz through the annual and then get onto the 2007s.
I would say do the 2007 ones, get those updated, and then we can.
The statute doesn't give us a date that we have to have the annual done, just says you have to do it annually. So
Right.
we could do it
In June.
after.
Yeah, okay. After the year. Okay. Any input, Bob?
2007, but my only comment was, as you're going through those, don't feel compelled to change a word or two just to make an update. I mean, if the policy's solid the way it's written, then
And we can
could
just say
find
reviewed.
One,
on
we could
this-
find one that's actually solid the way it's written, we wouldn't probably do that.
True. I mean, with these 2007 ones and where we are at right now, we do have to reflect on the statute that it's.
Yeah, we have a lot of laws.
That's where a lot of
We
the
do.
problems are.
A lot of the laws have changed.
And you don't want Michelle on there.
And we,
Proofreading.
well, when we started in 1996.
Yep.
So it's taken us almost 5 years to get to 2007, and all the new policies, plus everything we did for 4 years through COVID.
Right.
So we've made, because we had a whole set of policies we had to implement in COVID.
Right.
All brand new,
Separate,
everything.
yeah. Contradictory.
Oh yeah. To everything, including themselves.
Yeah, that's true. They were. But I mean, for the board's review, you can actually see that Lynn's done a great job with this lovely little spreadsheet, and that we've made progress. I mean,
Yes.
the board is doing its
A
job,
lot.
which is huge.
Policies, yeah. Yeah, I'm with Randy. I think just go to 2007.
Okay.
I think anything that changed in statute was already taken care of. All the new parental things and the mental health thing, that was all done already. So
Okay. So, Maria, can you note that down? Perfect. Library fines annual report.
So one of the fun parts about doing all these policies is Michelle keeps pointing out to me as we're going along, oh, there's a superintendent report for that. So we're actually creating a document with all superintendent reports. This happens to be one of them.
I'm curious at LHS, what materials were lost that came up to $6,301.76?
Oh,
There's an explanation in there that on the next page that says what actually happened.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there we are.
Oh, Shannon's here to talk to you.
And you guys have Shannon LaFontaine, assistant principal at Lakeland High School. You have a memo from Melissa Brombaugh that should explain most all of that in a nutshell. What, in some cases, what happened, you know, a classroom set of textbooks was in a teacher's classroom rather than issued to students. And we either got new curriculum, and those books were still there, but they aren't using them anymore, and it wasn't deleted from Destiny. So it's still showing. And it's a pretty big value when you've got $200 and $300 piece books in a classroom set. Or teachers retired, and those class sets didn't exit out with them, and so we just, of that huge amount of money, like one teacher alone for us was like a $5,000. Yeah, they're still there. They're the outdated books that have now replaced with new curriculum.
Okay.
So that just didn't get removed from Destiny. So
They're
we're cleaning those up.
Okay. So kind of what I hear you saying is that's not really accurate.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. There's a lot of looks like lost books, but really they're just sitting on a shelf because something else has replaced them and they need to be pulled from the Destiny system.
So it's good that we're doing this.
Yes.
Getting all of that cleared out.
And in a lot of cases, our current library lead, Melissa, who gave you that, wasn't even on board to know that was sitting there, and so it's brought some things to her attention, and she's working with our tech department to get it cleared out.
Okay.
So,
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What do we do with the old curriculum? What do we do with that?
Sometimes teachers keep the class set, just so because there's some really good pieces to it, and you don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. But if we're going to dispose of the books, oftentimes they get donated, or Follett will buy used textbooks from the district, and then they do with them whatever it is that they do with them. So that's a note that I made to myself at the last board meeting. The policy says that when we dispose of those things, that all of that comes to the board.
Yeah, we should know that.
And so that's on my radar now. So.
And there might be other, instead of just trashing them, there are other.
Yeah, we don't trash them. They either go to Goodwill or these Follett, and there was one
It's
other
another
one.
company that we used to do all the time. I'd box them up and send them off, and it's the same company. When I needed a book,
You would reach
and
out
I
to
wanted an older edition because I wanted to match mine, you'd reach out to them, and you could find used ones where,
Okay.
starts with an A. I can't remember what it is. Look at it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, thank you. Any further discussion?
Use a little fundraiser.
Ooh.
That'd be cool. Turn it into like an event fundraiser thing at the end of the year. Book fair, come and buy old used books. That'd be cool.
Well,
There are private schools, small private schools who don't really have a budget to buy.
Right.
Homeschool
Yeah.
groups, they really, especially, I know that, his name just flew out of my head, the teacher up at Apple that just retired, Mr. Mo. He had a lot of nice, math. The name,
Saxon?
Yes.
He loved the Saxon now.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's a higher standard than that. I think that's a pretty good standard bar to reach. But anyways, there's a lot of good curriculum out there. I was just curious what happens to it.
How are we dealing with the paragraph that talks about fines moving up from the middle school that the high school is no longer trying to cope with, that they appear to still be on the books somewhere?
Well, is that addressed in the policy, Michelle, that we were working on? fines and the fees? Can't remember.
It was something that we looked at in the sense that there is no clear, what came out in policy is that the high school should not be trying to collect fines from elementary school. That just is ridiculous. Elementary school should be doing its due diligence to collect the fines before the kiddo passes on to middle school, as should middle school be collecting its fines before that kiddo passes on to the high school. So some are, some aren't. There was no clear, and I think we resolved it in the policy, didn't we? Sure. Okay.
So I was thinking that
yeah.
we did. So I did meet with the librarians and we talked about this this document actually. And so at the elementary school, there are times when we have kids who lose a book, and the parents don't have the $20 or whatever it costs to replace the book. And so they work with the family. Can you make $2 a month payment and we'll just collect it until you can pay it? If not, sometimes the parents will say, instead, can my child be a helper in your library and kind of work the money out? Mm-hmm. So they are getting very creative and finding ways to work with families to kind of take care of some of those fees. So they are trying to minimize one of the things that I did when I was at Betty Kiefer was in the fall when we wrote class lists. I had a book that the parent had been unwilling to work with us on providing either the kiddo's going to work it off or you're going to pay us for it. Their name wasn't on a class list at open house, and that usually got them to work with me to figure out a way to take care of that, so that when they left at 6th grade, we didn't have those fines hanging out. So.
Well, and I think, as Michelle pointed out, that each school doing its own due diligence to make sure that they're not passing that stuff on to somebody else.
Yeah. Because what was happening was the high schools were getting kids with large numbers of
they just didn't want to deal with it anymore, so they just passed it up to the high
it's
school.
difficult sometimes. Not all families have a lot of money to.
Right, which is why I appreciate the fact that we're willing to work with families to find ways to take responsibility. And sometimes the family will pay for the book, and then they find it and they turn it back in, and we refund money back to them. So.
Okay. Any other discussion on library? Fines annual report loss analysis. Okay.
The fines that are collected, where does that money go?
It goes into the library budget in the building, and they can use that to buy books or supplies that they need for their library.
Okay. And that's true whether it's a library book or a textbook?
If it's a textbook, no, that's not true. If it's a textbook, the money goes back to the school and ultimately to the district, because we have to re-buy that
replacing that book.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm good.
Moving on to the Northwest Specialty Hospital.
So this is a very exciting partnership possibility for us. I was really hoping the MOU would be here tonight for you to take action on, but they're still working on writing it. Rick Rasmussen reached out to me, and he is the CEO of the hospital, and they are really trying to kind of build their customer base and get their name out there. So they're working with Post Falls, Coeur d'Alene, and now they're wanting to work with Lakeland, and they are willing to pay 85% of the salary and benefits for our athletic trainers. They will reimburse us for all supplies that we use during the year for that program, and if there are any equipment needs that we have, they will purchase them for us. And the only thing they're asking from us is that we put a sign in our gym and on our fields that just says athletic trainer sponsored by Northwest Specialty Hospital. It was important to us that we got to keep our people in our system as our employees. And so the one caveat to all that, there's so many benefits, but the one thing that they did, they're talking to each district about is that in order to, we have an opening right now at Lakeland High School because that athletic trainer found out that post-fall Coeur d'Alene had signed the MOU with Northwest Specialty. And so she jumped ship so she could participate in this plan, which is unfortunate because I'm hoping that we're going to be able to do the same. But we have the position open and we don't have any applicants because that position requires a lot of schooling and a master's degree. So Northwest Specialty Hospital is asking us to have a wage for that position at a market value competitive wage. And they worked with Coeur d'Alene and Post Falls and set that, and they'll pay 85% of that. So the position that there will be a pretty significant increase to that particular wage so that we can get applicants. And then the other nice thing about working with them is, the urgent care in Apple, Lakeland immediate care, and then of course Northwest Specialty and Post Falls they're all affiliated now, and so they will have those the two in our district open on Saturdays. So if we have athletes who are injured, like on a Friday night game, and they need to be seen, they'll be able to go to the urgent care close to home instead of having to go to the hospital. They're going to provide the impact testing and physicals for kids if parents want to go there. And then if we have a situation where maybe Timberlake High School is traveling to Grangeville for a play-in football game for state, and Grangeville doesn't have an athletic trainer, and so they have to take hours, but we have district soccer going on in our community, they will provide a substitute athletic trainer at no cost to make sure that we're covered. So because they have been working for them. So one of them is Kyle Havercroft, who's a former Lakeland Betty Kiefer kid, Lakeland High School graduate. So there just are a lot of wins for us. So I just I wanted to bring this to your attention.
So would they be doing this for Lakeland and Timberlake?
Yeah, when I say Lakeland, I'm talking the district.
Okay.
Yes, both schools. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they'll actually even provide kind of a uniform, scrubs or whatever they're going to be wearing, and it'll have the Timberlake logo, and then on the sleeve it will just say sponsored by Northwest Specialty Hospital.
So they're buying a position. I don't like that. As soon as you said that, I have no problem with the sponsorship, but we're not going to take money and then they can't buy a position in our district. We're not going to refer people explicitly to their facility, and we're not going to wear their uniform. I won't vote for that. They want to give the money and they want to hang the sign and they want to do all that. Then we do that for everybody. But for them to come in and exclusive rights, paying for exclusive rights, I don't think is proper.
I'm not hearing that, I don't think.
Well, if we're saying you go to this urgent care and that urgent care when you get hurt on Saturday, and we're putting on their uniform that says
that's still a parent option. I mean,
right.
They're just they're just having it open so that they have access to it.
And then well, I don't have any problem with them doing the sponsor, but then for us to put on their uniform, I mean that's I think crossing the boundary. That's crossing the line. We don't do that for anybody else. I mean, but it sounds like a great deal, but that's what I was waiting for. What is it that we have to do for the money?
Yeah, I think I do believe they're using marketing dollars for this program, and they are trying to get exposure to the community so that people know there's an alternative, I guess, to Kootenai Health.
Yeah. I agree with that. I mean, I do like Northwest, especially I use them for a lot of stuff myself.
I'll be there all the time, but so I can convey to Rick. I'm
just one voice, but that's my thing. I just don't want the community to look and say, "Oh, well, now we're Northwest Specialty." No, we're still Lakeland. We like all the other community members that support us. I think that's a close line.
How much of an increase are we looking at for the athletic trainer's salary?
The numbers that he mentioned when we were at that meeting, was it 65 to 68,000? Was the range?
67 to 72.
Oh, it was? I thought 68 was the highest. Okay.
And what do we currently offer that position at?
Well, they started a teacher salary.
Oh, really? So we're looking at
Significant.
And if they walk away from this and don't offer it next year, we're still bound to that 67.
Nope, I actually have a thought about that because that was a concern that I had. And I did talk to Brooke about this a little bit, but what we could do is figure out where they would fall on our salary schedule and have that be their base salary, and then do a stipend above and beyond to get to whatever their agreed upon amount is. So our people know that if this relationship goes away, this is what we're obligated to as a district. We're not obligated to that.
These are not contract.
No.
It's just,
I just want to make it crystal clear that this is the district's obligation. So.
Yeah. Yeah, well, no wonder she went to Coeur d'Alene. Yeah, that's huge double.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we will lose Sam at Timberlake if we don't, because we will be the only district in our area not doing it, and she could go to Post Falls or Coeur d'Alene, and that's what she would make.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not against the idea. I just think we need to be very cautious. We're still a small community, and a lot of the community knows who Northwest Specialty is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think we just need to make sure that we don't.
Well, once I have the MOU, I will bring it to you, and you guys can go through it and tell me what parts you're comfortable with and what you would like to see changed, and then I can take it back.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give you a heads up that we were talking about it.
Yeah. I'm curious, does Kootenai Health do anything like that in the community? I don't think they do. What?
No.
All right, any further conversation on Northwest Specialty? Not at this time. Moving on to the levy update.
Just a quick update to let you know kind of what we've been up to. I've met with 2 of our staffs, one PTU. I have 2 more tomorrow, and then at the Lakeland High School Booster Club so far. Running fast and furious.
So you're saying the levy was discussed at the September Parent Community Advocacy meeting, but no one was there?
That was the agenda item.
You just talked to yourself.
That
The one agenda item.
That was the agenda item, and I had already given that to Maria, so that's now on the October agenda.
I thought that was hilarious. Yeah. It was well received. How was that back and forth? Was that? Did you get good feedback on that?
I was really impressed with the dialogue.
Good. Okay.
I would say Lisa presented at the last Bathroom Chamber luncheon and did a very nice job, well received. Had some questions afterward, but not much.
Yeah, and some good feedback, which
We
I
had some
appreciated.
good feedback.
Good.
Yep.
Excuse me. Moving on to the levy flyer feedback.
So this will be the one flyer that we send out, just so everybody in our community knows that we are running the levy. We tried to do it with as few words as we could, and so we tried to use bullets where we could, and we chopped it up so that they could digest little pieces of information at a time. But there are some pretty important pieces of information that we wanted to cover.
I think it's good. Sort of a question answer kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this format.
Mm-hmm.
I like the format, but I think it's way too much. Just from a perspective of, what is House Bill 292 property tax relief? I think that is going to be a big stumbling block, because basically what you're telling them is we're getting all this money from the state to help offset your tax relief or the tax burdens that you have, and which right there, the question is, well, then why do you need more? Why do I have to keep giving you more money? So what I'm not trying to say is I don't think it should be on there. I just think it's extremely wordy, and we're basically kind of negating why we need the levy in the first place. I mean, if what I hear is we get this money for tax relief, so why do we have to keep paying taxes? And that's what people don't want. They don't want to keep having to pay more and more and more, because in their minds it is more and more and more, especially when property valuations go up.
But if everybody's property valuations go up, your piece of the pie actually gets smaller and your tax rate comes down.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I just think it's a lot. All of this is a lot.
Yeah. I'm happy to take your feedback and do what you want me to do with that, but I would tell you that Governor Little and some of our legislators have really spent a lot of time talking about how much more money is coming to public education this year, but it's not coming to us for the things we needed. It's the property tax relief, and then it's the $18 million. And so if I don't figure out how to give that part of the story, there are conversations happening about why are we even, they got a whole bunch more money this year. Why are we doing this? So I need them to understand that part of what the state's giving us is in recognition of the fact that, over 90% of our school districts are running supplemental levies. So they're providing dollars to lessen the load on the taxpayers.
But that doesn't mean that we need the money any less.
Exactly. And the other thing that I have heard, and the reason that I wanted that on there is that what some of our taxpayers have asked me is, so you're going to ask for $9.52 million, and the state's giving you $2.3 million, so now you're getting $12 million.
Right.
So if I don't explain to them what that House Bill 292 is, I just want them to have accurate information, and then they can make a decision. But that's why it's on there. If there's a better way to
and I'm not saying it shouldn't be on here. What I'm saying is it's a lot of words, and it's kind of
just
convoluted.
An equation would be nice.
Too deep in the weeds.
It would be 2.37 million state of Idaho plus 7 point da 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 taxpayer equals 9.52. Literally the equation.
Right. I mean, just.
I can do that.
So they understand it's still 9.52, but the state's paying your 2.37.
Okay, I can do that. Yep. So
That's a really good way to put that.
House Bill 292. Simplify and show the equation. Okay. Anything else that feels too wordy? Too deep in the weeds?
Maybe instead of saying greetings Lakeland patrons, either howdy good neighbor or something like that. Because if you've got people that are frustrated with the fact that they don't have kids, so why do we have to support? We don't, my kids go to private school. I'm not part of Lakeland. You're trying to be all inclusive, because that was the question that I was going to ask you. Is this just going to our patrons, which in a lot of people's minds is the kids that come to school? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, in my mind, a patron is anybody who lives in the
I get you,
district.
and I get that.
Lakeland community.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole Lakeland Joint School District's right there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're just saying, welcome to the hood, I mean, we all know you're here, that would be good. I mean, don't be so sorry, but,
Okay.
So we don't get lottery money anymore?
Not anymore.
But didn't they sell that to the people that would go to schools?
Well, technically, it's still going to schools, but it's not coming to us anymore to use to maintain our buildings. They took it away from us to help fund the property tax relief that's now coming. That and the bond equalization fund, both of those are gone, and that's how they're funding that. So.
From one line item to another.
Exactly. Yep.
It's so government.
One of the other, I know this isn't addressed on here, but since we're talking about the levy, one of the other confusions that's going around the community right now, that if people are talking to you about the levy, you could maybe help explain, is there was the article in the newspaper about the emergency levy, and I've just been telling people that our board does not agree with taxation without representation, and so even though we could have run an emergency levy this year, I didn't even bring the conversation up because it's not what we do. So that was in the paper. Well, people are reading that, and what they read was Lakeland's not running a levy. So now the word is out in the community that there won't be a Lakeland levy on the ballot. So I'm having to explain that we didn't run an emergency levy, but we are running a supplemental levy. So just know that that's
Giving
out
the
there.
community a
How much,
voice.
have you got a calculation how much emergency levy would we qualify for?
It was 40 kids. So
I did, Trustee Jones, I did not calculate it, knowing that we were.
I think it'd be a good number for the board to know, so as we're talking with people, we can say, we chose not to do an emergency levy, which would have amounted to this number of dollars plus the supplemental.
And just
And
that,
so we've saved the taxpayers that expense. And they're going to be saved again by the state money that flows against the supplemental levy.
And I am curious. I'm being told that what's out in the community is that we're kind of fear mongering. That if we don't pass this levy, we've already decided that we're closing Spirit Lake and Athol.
Yeah.
Nope.
So that's, what's that? I'm hearing that from community members. I am. That they're being told that, we have to pass this levy, because if we don't, we're going to be in a position, we're closing schools, and the first two that'll close will be up north, and we're just going to bus those kids down here.
Yeah,
I mean, like, this is a well thought out plan, and I'm going, wait a minute, the board is the only entity that can make that type of decision. We've never even gone there.
That's not. anything
Why would
that's
we go there? We just redid the buildings. I mean, that's just crazy.
Yeah. So no. In fact, somebody asked me if I could tell them what will go away, and I said no, I can't. That's the board's role. The reality is we have to cut $9.52 million from the budget if the levy doesn't pass. That's going to be the board's job to figure out how best to do that.
It'll be painful.
Yeah. So
I think they came up with that because of what happened in Coeur d'Alene, or what was said was going to happen and what happened up north.
Sports.
No, they closed schools. They had to close schools up in Priest.
Oh.
Yeah.
They did.
and then Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah.
Priest River doesn't
Oh,
have the junior high this year.
Yeah.
Their kids were split between the elementary schools and the high school.
Yeah, so I think that's it's on either side of us, and so I think that just started.
Yeah, I know.
Somebody had a brainchild.
Just know that it's frustrating when we're always saying don't fear monger, and yet it's out there.
Yeah. No, they always they always go to the worst case scenario.
The other thing is because we do have a lot of new community members, they don't understand the three main different types of levies that schools get and what they're used for. And they still don't understand. I give this talk more than anything. I just gave it a couple weeks ago to a group about levies and how levies work in the state of Idaho and what we do run, what we don't run. They still don't have a full understanding, and they don't have a full understanding because the states they come from, everything's fully funded by the state. They think that everything they see in the building, in the classroom, it's all paid. It's like, no, you get a teacher and a desk. That's what you get.
And part of the transportation program.
Yeah, 85%.
That's the highest.
Of the prior year.
Yeah, because it ranges from 50%, 50 to 85. Yeah.
Like not every category.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's still a lot of that they don't. they don't understand that either, and that we can't take, because that's the other thing that I was like, well, just move that, but it's like, no, we can't take facility money, and I explained to him too, the 1.4 million, what does that buy? You can't hardly buy a house for just a little less than that in all of Kootenai County.
Right.
So, you got 11 to 13 buildings you're trying to maintain.
It doesn't go.
Yeah.
No.
So I think there's still just a lot of educating of what we do. That's what I stuck to. Here's what we do, and left it at that. And they were thankful because a lot of them didn't understand.
Yeah. Well, it helps
all
to
of that.
keep it simple too.
Yeah.
Kate is sitting in our audience, and she sat at the orientation days at Lakeland High School, just sat with the table with information about our levy, and talked to several parents who didn't know we were running a levy, didn't understand what a levy was, and so she was able to give a lot of really good information. So
Good. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right.
okay, I will make those updates, and then the goal will be to have this go out end of September, beginning of October.
Okay. Moving on to the original City of Rathdrum MOU. I know that we had asked for that, but it's kind of hard to have the original and the new one and know what we.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, Michelle.
No, that's okay.
I just went through my notes and it just said they want to see that, so I didn't even think about that.
That's okay.
It's on in last month's agenda, wasn't it, or month before
I think
last?
so.
It's significantly different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it looked like
it
it.
is.
As soon as I opened, I'm like, oh yeah, this doesn't sound the same.
Not at all.
Not at all. So it would be good to have both of those on the special meeting for the joint.
Good.
Yep.
Absolutely. Okay, then we have the facilities director job description.
I know one of the things we talked about adding was some experience or knowledge of construction management.
Well, right, but the starting salary isn't a director's salary.
I didn't adjust it, I didn't change it. I just brought
Okay.
this is what we have. This is the current one.
Yeah, that's
So-
way too low.
Yeah, so we need to be,
Okay.
so yeah, we need to fix it.
Well, I think we should also have, there should be a qualification of at least a bachelor's degree with respect that job. No, I agree. I agree. But we need experience. Hold on, because the salary we typically, or at least that we offer for a director's starting salary is like 20,000 more than this. But my point is we can state that as something we'd like to see, but there can always be job training equivalents, because in the trades industry, it's huge. It's valuable to have that guy that's been on all different types of job sites and knows how to manage and run them. Doesn't mean he has a bachelor's degree, but he's got job skill training that would equate to having that type of knowledge. So I think that there's value in listing that, especially for the wage that is offered.
I think we need a working copy. We need somebody that actually can do the job, so that when we say we need that concrete replaced, we don't have to hire an engineer to figure out concrete.
Right? Yeah.
And what you can replace and not. Somebody that had work experience could walk right out there in their head. And I think the working experience, I understand what you're saying about that, but I think we need somebody that has done it hands-on, more than just a textbook. Reading it and doing it is
Okay.
I think the qualifications are too fluffy for this type of a position. think they're too fluffy
We need,
and
we need calloused hands.
cute.
and
Yeah,
cold
yeah. I
hands
think
that
it's just too fluffy.
have
And
stain marks and, yeah, okay, I gotcha. What kind of Steve's there? No. Muddy boots.
This is an older job description,
Yeah.
and so the salary, the beginning salary is like the top end of the what it's saying there. So that's the beginning of what we have now. So I think it's the 70,000 something. That's usually that's around the starting point on the director scale.
Right, and I know that we 2 or 3 years ago, I'm not sure exactly when, but because the facilities director is a director, we brought that wage up to a director position.
Right. Yeah.
So, and I know just from having meetings with you, you've, each cell and row and all that stuff, it's all based on their qualifications. Someone just doesn't get stuck in there just cause. But we kind of did that with the facilities director because we wanted the salary to be equal to the title. So,
Are there,
Background in electrical,
I was just going to ask that question, thanks, Dave.
carpentry, plumbing.
there's maintenance, carpentry, custodial, and groundskeeping is
Yeah.
what's listed as.
Yeah.
Ideally, they'd have 10 years experience in the trades.
at least.
No, they're not gonna be in all trades,
No,
but if they've been in the trades, that means they've been around all trades.
Right.
Correct.
right.
And so that has the exposure that they need in order.
Right.
Running jobs, being a super on a job or.
Well, exposure to plumbing, exposure to electrical,
Yeah, right,
exposure
that's what I'm
to,
saying.
yeah, the flat work,
Like a carpenter,
foundations.
you go alongside the electricians and the plumbers and
Yep.
heating guys and so on and so forth. So you learn a lot as you go along.
Yep.
The other thing is,
Speech back.
we mentioned salary. Maybe it's in there, I'm not seeing anything mentioned about the benefit program.
Do we have that on
And
our?
that's pretty important for,
We usually don't put them in the job description. We put in the benefit stuff in the advertisement because benefits change from year to year.
as long as it's out there and well.
That it's a
well
benefited
understood,
position.
because a lot of those guys, coming out of the trades, don't work in employment where they get that kind of
Correct.
benefits.
Right.
Yeah,
So we put in
we're
our advertisement.
several $100 savings in health insurance, but
Oh, yeah, and retirement program.
And then Percy is,
Yeah.
because if you're working in construction, they're not getting a 401k match. Great kind of benefit.
Well, it just depends on that industry's changed quite a bit in North Idaho in the last
That's good.
5-10 years. I mean, you got a lot of different people that have come in, or even people that grew up here. They have, their parents were in the trade and now they own companies and they're doing quite well. And they do give all their, which I'm happy to see. So it's not quite as sparse as it used to be as far as benefits packages.
That's good.
And then what do we use to write these? Do we look at like the Bureau of Labor or ONET or any of those to see what the scale is or anything for our area?
Competitive wage for the.
Yeah, and
same
they like most government jobs, you have to go by like their description and stuff. They usually have a pretty good template, a jump off, and then whatever the wages in our area.
the prevailing wage
Well, not
qualifications.
not necessarily prevailing wage because we don't pay that, but just the state of Idaho has that where you look up the wage
Yeah,
to see
you
what
go to
they.
Department of Employment and they have all those assigned.
Mhm. But the descriptions from the ONET or the Bureau of Labor Statistics are always up to date. Mm-hmm.
What did you say that was?
Bureau of Labor Statistics, and then the other one is ONET. Brooke's probably familiar with those.
ONET. I do think the performance responsibilities needs to be updated because this is I'm pretty sure that the director doesn't need to be the one that's receiving and inventorying what is received in the shop. We definitely need to kind of look through all of this, and I just wanted you to see what the current job description was, and to get some feedback from you, so that as we start working on it, to come back with a draft, we have some direction.
How long have we had this job description?
Is there a date on it?
No. There should be, but there isn't.
I'll be honest, I don't think that when the prior facilities director was transitioned into that, he was transitioned as an interim and became the facilities director. I don't think there was an updated job description at that time. So this probably goes back to
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't believe that our current one or immediately past one was supervising all custodial, maintenance, and groundskeeping personnel.
No,
Because
this needs a complete overhaul.
Yeah.
This is completely outdated. I believe Superintendent Arnold brought it forth to you to get feedback.
Because the principals supervise their own custodial staff, right?
Well, and then we do have so under the previous superintendent, we have some new positions that were added at facilities. So there's a custodial lead, and he meets monthly with the head custodians. He does all the OSHA training. He does takes care of all the ordering. So the director supervises that person and then supervises those people.
Okay.
So we have
a lot of supervising going on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, do you have enough direction from us?
I feel like I have enough to Brooke and I can put a draft together, bring it back to you, and then you can get additional feedback. Or you can say make these couple changes and then we can approve it and we'll make the changes. So but we'll bring you a draft to the October meeting.
Need an item in there about, the ability to coordinate with and oversee contractors.
Project management.
Yeah, our
Having exposure to project management at least would be helpful.
when we were putting together the request for a project that our building administrators would submit, one of the things that isn't happening is our facilities director has not been part of the loop. So we've had projects that our principals have gone out and done a lot of hard work to get donations for, and then they get people working, and then we cut the irrigation line, so now we need facilities to come and fix it, instead of having the facilities department be the people taking the lead. So that I actually wrote that into the protocol, that our facilities director should be the lead person on any job that we're doing, as far as that's the go-to person. That director needs to know what the project, what's the scope of the project,
Right.
What's the plan for the project, so timeline.
Communicate with the building principals on any projects.
Exactly, so that we are working. So I'll bring the draft protocol. I should have, Adam was going to he took it and he was kind of looking at it, and then we'll talk about it on Monday at our meeting, and I'll bring that too. So I am trying to fine tune how we're working, so that we're not constantly creating this swirling kind of mess where nobody's talking to each other,
and that's been a problem for some time. And I mean, there's a lot of empathy for the fact that the prior facilities director was sort of there but not there, and that should have never happened. So any further comments or conversation on that?
I think so.
You think so?
You think you're good?
Okay, good. All right, moving on to the principal priorities for facilities.
It's a lot.
Well, and I don't understand.
So you had asked the principals to go in and kind of update, and some of them followed direction, and some. Why is it not even?
It's not opening. Yeah, mine's not
You
opening.
gotta.
If you scroll
Show
down,
page.
you'll see it.
I forget that she does that for us. Thank you. Yeah, so you can see that there are comments there. So Athol, Kathy put in there when things were completed.
Timberlake Elementary.
I think that's Twin Lakes Elementary. Yep.
Oh,
Did you do that?
Did you do that?
Yeah, when I
Oh.
created them into PDFs, they were.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
I had to
Okay.
label.
Yeah, the tab was at the bottom.
No worries.
I'm sure you're.
Thank you. Okay.
I like that name. Yeah, that would be T Ali, so twin.
On Lakeland Middle School, the red means it's completed. Is that it? And the yellow means it's coming, maybe?
Yes.
Okay.
Work.
Yeah, because they put done.
And approved.
And then approved.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Some of what the principals have here may get overridden by the format that the state's asking us to put our building condition information in, and creating that 10-year plan. To Jessica's point earlier in the meeting, anything that we mark as core is going to be identified as a top priority. Some of it might align, but not all of it.
Yeah, and how are we determining that? I mean, do we actually have an inspection report from somebody, or we're just deciding, or I mean, how
There's
are
a
we doing
rubric.
that?
There's a rubric for each one of those things, and so Mr. Ferriola spent this summer doing that, going building by building, and and the way that the state's doing it is at each building you have to identify which part was the original building, and then every time there was something added on, there's an addition, and so then he has to go through and do all of those systems within that addition separately from the original building. So it was highly labor intensive.
This would be a challenge because
he did
our buildings were added on to 3 and 4 times.
Yep. Well, you can tell when we ran bonds. That's what I started to see we're building Betty Kiefer in 1994. So now there's an addition at Spirit Lake, and there's an addition at Athol. You definitely could start to see that. But so anyway, Mike took the rubric, and
So the state basically already decided how you're going to come about.
yes,
Gotcha.
so that there's some uniformity across the state with how we're representing things.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the heater's working. It does not need to be fixed. Works quite well.
We actually have the AC on, but it doesn't appear to be working.
Oh yeah, no. If that's air conditioning, it is not working.
I know, I have my sweater off. Yeah, that never happens.
I'm usually cold. I'm like, I don't have any questions or anything on any of that.
No, this is good information to just have.
Yeah.
It's great.
Well, and it sort of gives us an idea too of what's, we have a overall idea of what's been done, but to see an updated list from them, oh yeah, this is done, but we still have this little piece. So,
It's also nice to see the big system type things that need to be fixed in buildings versus we sure would like to have this, the must haves versus the nice to haves.
Yeah, right.
Also there too.
Anything further on the principal priorities?
No.
Okay. Can we move on to the teaching and learning handbook, which this was sort of just a hangover from the last workshop we had.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if there was anything that needed to be talked about or brought out or looked at on this, so I just put it back on because the other items were addressed. The data was addressed, and there were like 4 or 5 thingies. So do we need to have any conversation on the teaching and learning handbook at all? No. Bob,
Pardon?
any conversation or comments on the teaching and learning handbook?
Other than it's great format and it's great to see all these guides and
Yes.
All in
know
one
you
place,
can go
yeah.
somewhere and actually find it all.
Find it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
Awesome.
kudos to everybody for doing that.
I think that everybody is Lynn.
Yeah. I
She
figured
is a
that, but I
team
wasn't
all
gonna-
into
yes,
herself. All right, so we have the dates to remember. Policy committee is moving to Thursdays, back in the evening, 6 to 7:30. If anybody wants to come on down, we all appreciate your help. And on that, we do not need to enter into executive session.
Was there one thing that we said earlier in the evening that might be discussed?
Yeah, there was. It was on the resignation letter.
Okay.
So,
I thought there was something and I couldn't remember what it was.
It was the resignation
That we were
letter. It's just frustrating because the points of on the resignation letter are exactly what we were concerned about with the way of getting rid of the behavioral interventionist positions and the way it went about. And this person's resigning because of what we said we don't want to have happen, and that's exactly what happened. So it's just frustrating. I don't know that it's anything that we have to go into executive session for. Okay. Anything from anybody else?
Can I just add to what you're saying? So what we did with when we made that switch was we had several paras who also were working with our kids who have challenging behaviors, but they weren't over in that column where we had that other position. And so we were consistently getting requests to get paid at the higher rate when they were working with those challenging kids. And then so when we really started looking at it, what we realized was all of our paras are working with those kiddos. So let's just put all the paras in the para column.
Except I believe the behavioral interventionists actually have certifications or some sort of credentialing.
You're thinking of a BI specialist. Right. This is not.
Okay.
That. So,
all right.
So that was the why behind it was creating the haves and the have-nots kind of when they were all participating with the same kiddos. How the principals define their day is up to the principal. So some of the tasks that she was saying that she did that she felt were beneficial, she still could have done. It just didn't come with that title.
No, it didn't come with that pay either.
Right. And
because we decreased their pay and now we're saying, do more, which is not right. But that's what we did.
So do all these students with these behaviors, are these students on IEPs and that's why they have the para, or how are we deciding that?
Yes.
Okay. So then my other question would be, if there are students on IEPs with behaviors, why is the principal the one making the decision on how the para spends the time and not the special ed director or teacher, whoever's in charge of that.
Well, so our special ed people are kind of in a weird position where they actually have two bosses because they work in a building with the principal and then Kelsey oversees the whole program. So they're tied to the minutes that are in the IEP for the kiddo. But there are times during the day when, somebody's going to lunch and somebody else is covering. And so there is some flexibility in there. So if this person isn't attached to a child right now and they're not running a small group, they can do some of these other tasks that the Vic had mentioned that they did.
Other tasks as, I think we need to check the law and make sure that we're within the law, just to be sure.
Everything that our special ed pairs are doing are tied to the special education program.
Right, and that's why I said I think we need to check the law as far as who gives the para legally, federal law, who gives the para the instruction if the para is tied to an IEP for a child, to make sure that we are doing within the law. Make sure that, we're just handing out information or schedules or whatever according to. I just want to make sure that we cover that. I'm not saying we aren't, but I just want us to clarify. Yep. Yeah.
All right. Anything else from anyone? No. No. Mom? All right. On that note, we'll go ahead and end the meeting. It is 9:28.